This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. May 22nd, 2017. Missed the last 2 weeks. Been traveling, had a wedding to go to, and had a death in the family. Wasn't planning on being gone for 2 weeks. But we are back, and just a heads up, there's some sort of error with the call board interface that I've never seen before. I cannot see the call board. It says your browser is not supported. And I tried it on another browser and it says it's not supported either. So I think it's not the browser. I think something strange is going on with the call board. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to take the calls for the show through my backup phone line that I use for my Patreon daily call-in. So I will give out that number. It's not going to be the 213 number. And understand, my backup number is not a call board. It's a phone. So it's, first call to get through is the one I take. And I'm going to give out that number in just a moment. But unfortunately, if you're on the call board, I'm not going to be able to answer because I cannot see it. So I apologize. There is a special guest who I'm going to invite on right now. Again, Rich at Daily Dose of Gematria. He's running that page there on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, did you guys like the news on May 14th? May 14th, which is Israel's birthday and Mark Zuckerberg's birthday. Mark Zuckerberg, who used to go with the hoodie. They had the Star of David on the inside that nobody could see, which was revealed on that talk show somewhere around 2010. But Mark Zuckerberg, Israel, they have the same birthday. And then on May 14th, which again is his birthday and Israel's, it was announced that WhatsApp, which is owned by Facebook, is spying on its users. And the spy program is being run through Israel. Go figure. And don't kid yourself. That story was just meant to mock our existence. Of course, Facebook and all these major online corporations are spying on everybody, collecting everyone's data and information. So somebody already knows the number to call in. And caller, I'm not going to answer that call yet just because we have a special guest, Ashley. I'm going to connect her right now. She got the cards at Daily Dose of Gematria. And if you pick up a box of those Gematria cards to help spread the word to friends and family, part of the perk is you get to come on the radio show and share your story. Ashley, are you there?
I'm here.
Thank you so much for connecting with us, and thanks for supporting the business cards. How are you?
Absolutely. I love you, Zach. You're awesome.
Well, thank you for the support. It's very nice to hear. And
let me tell you that I do hospitality all over the world. And I've been passing out your cards, and I've been getting phone calls about your cards.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
What are people saying?
Well, they're a little interested in what that means, Gematria, because they think they're getting my business card and then they get yours instead.
Sure.
So, so when they start to call your number and it's not me, then they're like, who is Zach Hubbard? And I'm like, that's my friend that is promoting truth to the world.
Well, I really appreciate you for doing that. And what got you into this research? How did you find about it, and what inspired you to want to share about it?
You did a story on George H.W. Bush, and I saw it, and about his death and when he was going to die, and I was like very intrigued. And then I bought your book for Christmas for myself. And then I read it. And then you've been on my Wednesday night, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule.
Very nice. Very nice.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Well, thank you. So it sounds like you've been following the work for about 6 months then.
Yes, I have. And you are doing something that nobody else in the universe is doing. And thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. I do want to say that there are some other people in the universe who've picked up the torch and are also doing this work. So there are a few other people out there, but we definitely got to grow our numbers and more people got to find out about this. That's for certain.
Correct. I'm in the South, and so there's a very, very conservative mindset here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean that with an open mind. And there are very open-minded conservatives in the South. And so they are listening and they want to listen. And I appreciate the fact that you are sharing this knowledge so regularly that they hear it, again and again.
Well, you are welcome. And Ashley, something very interesting I heard from Rich. He let me know that you bought the cards and wanted to get on. And he said, this woman even worked in the White House under the Bush administration. And I thought that was something else. Which Bush was it that you worked for?
I worked for W.
Okay.
I became a temporary person in his office, and then graduated to something else, and then became his scheduler, and then graduated to do you want to go to the White House? And I was like, oh my God, how do you say no to the White House?
Sure.
And I wore my sticker in the day that we voted. It said, I voted today. And he was like, good girl. George W. said that. And I was thinking, if he knew who I voted for, he might not be slapping me on the back right now,
Sure.
But it was a very interesting time. Yes, very. My first position as a scheduler there, I came into work and I had a message on my voicemail. And when I listened to it, it said, hello, Ashley. This is Barbara Bush, George's mom. And I was like, oh my God, really? And it kind of went from there, but it was a really great experience. I don't know that it was a choice, but it was a decision, to continue on with them. And it was fun. It was a great experience. I got out of there without catastrophe.
Uh-huh.
And, but yeah, I feel like people who have their eyes opened, and I feel like you are one of those people, I'm grateful for sure. I'm buying tickets to go to Philadelphia.
Very nice.
Yep. You are the guy, Zach. You are the guy. I got excited for George W. to be my boss, but I'm more excited that you are on the phone with me right now.
Really? That's funny. Huh. Well, okay, so I got to ask something. So when you were working in the White House, did you have a different mindset than you have now?
No. Yes, probably. Yes. I was very much younger. I didn't really know what was wrong. I just knew something was wrong. Does that make sense?
Sure, sure.
And I knew that when we were saying certain things in our offices, that would have been not okay by the masses, and it was going around viral on emails and text messages, and you could say these words openly, like the N word, for instance. That would have been not an okay thing for the public to know.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
And so I was appalled by that, and I wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible. If that answers your question.
Sure. So I just were you questioning things like the legitimacy of the 2000 election or what happened on September 11th?
Gosh.
Okay.
I was a scheduling coordinator for him in the governor's office, and then also in the White House. And so I knew what we were doing. I knew, and there was a moment in time. We had the first debate with Gore.
Mm-hmm.
Gore won, like, hands down. The second debate with Gore, Bush won hands down. There was something that happened in between those two debates that I'm not going to go into like a lot of detail, but yes, something happened and it was very revealing. And then at that point, I knew that politics was not what I thought it was.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Yeah. That was the same thing for me that whole time. I was 17 years old when that election was going on. I was a senior in high school, and we had to watch the debates for an assignment. And I just thought the whole thing was so silly. The son of the last Republican president, and then Al Gore, who they called Mr. Robotic. And,
Yep. And then Gore won like everything in the beginning of that whole election. Gore won everything, if you remember. And then Florida was like the holdup.
Well, I remember living in Washington State, and even in our paper and all the national papers, everyone knew that the election was going to come down to Florida weeks before the election even happened. And I thought that was strange too, because I said, his brother's the governor there. That seems weird.
Let me tell you that we did a prayer. I'm telling probably so much that if I die tomorrow, y'all, I did not kill myself. We did a prayer breakfast at Bush's church. We already had it planned. We already had like the place seating and stuff. We still went and did the prayer breakfast, like congratulating him as the president. But he was not the president yet.
Well, he did guarantee he was going to win, so it seemed that he knew something.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, it's my honor, Zach, to like pass out your cards. It really is. Daily Dose of Gematria, Rich Phillip, the whole group is phenomenal. They love you. I've met new people now that like support you, support your channel. Rich has his own story that's like phenomenal, you know?
Absolutely. He's a survivor.
So you've got like a really great following, and I would be happy to tell you more about what I think about politics, but I think that you should run for president.
Well, I joked. My book that's out there that you've read was supposed to be in print. I never knew it was going to be so much trouble to get it in print, but I wanted to do a book tour, and I joked that it would also be a presidential campaign. Not really, but
I'll be your campaign girl.
Well, I know who to talk to, the person from the White House. So it's very cool that you're so supportive and you're doing this. And it's fun to think that somebody who once worked in the White House is really taken to this and is helping spread the word. So
I like you a lot. Zach. You are the only one I know that's doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. And it's a pleasure to have you on. And I'm very grateful for you and what you're doing right now. And
thank you.
You got my number, so you can always call me back.
I do have your number, and I hope that guy from New York calls in because he's freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah, he is amazing. And unfortunately, the call board screwed up tonight. So I'm still going to be taking calls, but it might be trickier for people to get through. So thank you so much, Ashley.
Well, thank you, Zach. I like you a bunch.
All right. Great talking to you. You have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right. You take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, so I apologize to everyone about the call board. I didn't realize this was going to be a problem tonight. I've never seen this before, and I'm hoping it gets resolved during the show. Let me try to refresh it one more time just in case. Oh, thank you. Okay, false alarm, you guys. The call board is back up, so you can call into the regular number. All right, that just made my day. The number to call in is 213-233-3998. That's the normal number for TFR. The call board's up. So for those of you who stayed on the line, I guess you made the right choice. For those of you who hung up, I apologize. Call back in as quickly as possible. There's only 5 people online right now, but I will be able to take calls through the call board. So first up, looks like Tennessee. How are you, caller? Caller?
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh man. I got a lot to say.
All right, we're listening.
Try to get into a more quiet place. So let's see. So there's a Kelvin scale ritual. I don't know if you watched Derek's video about it. But from let's see. They first announced the change of the definition on November 16th, 2018, which is like a 1611. And then from that day, well, actually, it went into legal effect on May 20th, which was 185 days later. But the interesting thing about the Kelvin scale is 1,377 degrees Kelvin is equivalent to 2019 degrees Fahrenheit. We're in the year 2019. And it's also equal to 1,103 degrees Celsius, which that's the 185th pound number. Nancy Pelosi, sentence of 185 in the Francis Bacon cipher. And she got the Profile and Courage Award on May 20th, the same day that the new definition of Kelvin went into effect. And the thing about 1377 that's so interesting is that if you take Revelation 8:11, the King James Version, put it into the Gematria calculator, this comes to 1377 in the ordinal cipher. And last year, a guy by the name of George Kittle broke the single season reception yard record for tight ends with 1,377 yards. He plays for the San Francisco 49ers. And of course, Nancy Pelosi, she represents the 12th district in California. And that's the Golden Gate Bridge district. So what else? Carolyn Kennedy was the one who presented her with the award on May 20th. She was born the 5th day of the 5th month of the Islamic year, 1377. And I think she's got a big role to play. When she joined Boeing, it had a date numerology of 55. And May 20th was 55 days after Nancy Pelosi's birthday. And one more thing I want to get into real quick is with 219. So today she was big in the news with Trump. It was 57 days after her birthday. Nancy is 57. And she was born with her moon at 219 degrees of the eclipse. Right now, we're in the 219th lunar month since 9/11. And the last full day of the 219th lunar month will be May 26th, the day we're leaving 219 days in the year. And I think the Indianapolis 500 is something to watch out for because, Indiana's a 19th state. Indiana's home of the 219 area code. And something about the Indy 500 is that it's the largest single-day sporting event in the world. So something like an attack or something, God forbid, what better place to do something like that than Indianapolis. And that's been in the news a little bit lately too. And I want to give a shout out to YouTuber 7-1. He does great work, and he's the one that kind of led me on to the Kelvin scale ritual and everything. I think that covers most of it. I'm sure I left some out, but I think you kind of get the gist there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. Good work. And what's the name of the YouTuber again who gave you the tip?
Well, he found out that 1377 Kelvin is equivalent to 2019 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I found out about the dates for the Kelvin scale. His name's 7 and 1. Spelled out 7 and 1, one word.
Okay.
And the one thing I forgot to mention, this is the interesting thing I forgot to mention, is that 1611 was a pig year, and this year, 2019, is a pig year. It's the 35th pig year since the King James Bible. Catholic is 35. Of course, JFK was the only Catholic president we've had, the 35th president. And there's a Profile and Courage Award sums to 1611 in the Jewish cycle.
Huh.
And that's based on is a book that JFK wrote called Profile and Courage.
Huh.
So it's in dedication to John F. Kennedy. Of course, today is 666 months after the JFK assassination and everything.
Right.
And one more thing I want to mention about San Francisco today, May 22nd, is a heliacal setting of Sirius for San Francisco's latitude. And I think that's got most of the big points there.
All right.
Let's go on to the next caller.
All right. Very interesting. Great work. You keep it up, friend. You have a good night. All right.
Okay.
Take care. All right. So the next caller is the very brilliant caller from New York, and I always know he has a lot to say. We got about 4 minutes before the break, and I'm going to save his call for after the break so we don't have to interrupt him in mid-thought. The thing that's been on my mind all week is the major storms in the Midwest where the massive flooding hit Oklahoma. And that storm impacted Oklahoma and the surrounding states on May 20th, which is the 140th day of the year. And in this code of letters and numbers, Oklahoma equals 140. The other thing about May 20th, if we write that date out, it's 5/2052 right there. And just like I wrote about in my book on the chapter Weather Warfare by the Numbers, 52 is the signature number of weather warfare. It was first admitted in 1952 by the Royal Air Force that they were manipulating the weather and had the ability to induce flash flooding. And remember, flood equals 52, earth equals 52, hurricane equals 52. Again and again, the same repetitive patterns. Places being struck by devastating storms on the most perfect date that goes with the location. The number 52 always hanging right around. And same thing this year for this region of the country that got smashed by the storm. And the other thing about May 20th, 19 is it was a date with 44 numerology. Again, the military is in control of the weather. Military equals 44. So does the military technology HAARP. HAARP, that equals 44. We've talked about how HAARP was established, or the patent for HAARP was established August 11th, 1987. So coming up on the 32-year anniversary this summer. But what's so interesting about HAARP's patent being established on that date, August 11th, is it's the 223rd day of the year. Natural disaster equals 223. And HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, which also sums to 223. That's why you got to know the base ciphers, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. You know these four ciphers, you see through all of these riddles. So HAARP, which is said to have the ability to impact weather, even to cause the quaking of the earth, established on the most perfect date. And the storm that impacted this region of the country, May 20th, from that day to August 11th, the anniversary date is exactly 2 months and 23 days, kind of like 223, like natural disasters, 223, like again, the full name of HAARP is 223. And it's just, you know, pretty much if the storm is the central news story of the day, it's typically one of these, you know, designed acts. And like I said in the video that I put out this week, and like I wrote about in my book, it's disaster capitalism. Every time something's destroyed, the government then needs to go to the central bank to get lending, to essentially repair what was destroyed. And when you live in a nation that's run by, banker tyrants and this banking Ponzi scheme that we have, this is what it's all about. It's the same thing with the wars. You go and you destroy a nation, you expend all this money, you rebuild. It's just, this endless cycle of destruction and lending and interest and accounting. And anyway, I guess we're on a commercial right now. We'll be right back. We're taking your calls for the rest of the show. Sit tight, Truth Seeker. All right, we're on the commercial break. Again, during the breaks, I'm going to interact with the chat on YouTube. If you're just listening through your phone, this can be irritating because you're hearing commercials right now, plus my voice. I apologize. I'm not going to talk a lot. For people who are watching on YouTube, this is something we eat a lot here. Hold on, let me see if that's coming through. All of a sudden, I'm watching the YouTube live stream on mute, and the screen just went all black. I don't know if your guys' screen went all black. I hope not. Okay, it looks like it's back up. But this is called Lepetto. This is something my sweet lady, she makes all the time. It's a Burmese traditional dish. It's cabbage and fermented tea leaves and tomatoes and cilantro and these dried beans. If you have an Asian supermarket, there's a chance they might have this in there. Comes in a colorful box. You cut up cabbage and your vegetables, and then you put in the Lepetto mix. But I don't normally eat on camera, but I am hungry, and we got a minute and a half till break. So bear with me a minute, and I'm just gonna take a minute to eat a little bit of food. So apologies if you're hungry, but I do highly suggest you try some Lepetto. And then the other thing we have up here is quinoa. We used to eat it with white rice, but for a long time I was saying we gotta start eating quinoa. Quinoa is a lot healthier than white rice. And then we like sriracha around here too, so it's good if you dab a little bit of sriracha on there. Somebody says they're eating ranch sunflower seeds. Well, sunflower seeds aren't so bad for you, but that ranch flavoring, it's probably not the healthiest thing. But yeah, for all the people who think eating vegetarian and vegan is so bad, it's not. It's not. You realize when you start eating vegetables, there's actually a whole lot more different vegetables and fruits in the produce section than there are meats in the butcher section. So, and if you really need meat, there's okay vegetarian substitutes like Quorn, Quorn. If you ever eat their products, they're kind of expensive unless you find out where to get them on sale. But if you ever try those products, if I didn't tell you, like if you came over to my house and I gave you like some corn substitute meat, you might think it's the real deal. You might not even realize it's a replacement. All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. The music has stopped. Again, you can listen on tfrlive.com. You can also watch through YouTube where we're live streaming. We're going to be taking your calls for the rest of the show. Next up, the very brilliant caller from New York. Without further ado, here he is.
Thanks for the compliment, Zach.
Always, man. Thanks for always calling in. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm getting feedback. Do you hear any feedback?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. I'm not hearing it now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to offer condolences for your loss and your family.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I know on behalf of all the callers, we miss you and glad to have you back. I felt homeless for 3 weeks. You had mentioned how, especially this was particularly in regards to Mark Passio, how somebody like him, if he added Gematria to his work, how Gematria would expand his work so much further. And I agree with that. You add Gematria to anything. It could be the history, it could be Passio's work, and anything. Gematria will expand it. So I'm going to kind of talk along those lines today. Several callers and listeners to this show, including myself, have recommended an Illuminati insider and whistleblower, Jay Parker, for deeper insight into the inner workings of the dark occultism that influences the dominant entities in the world. There have been several so-called Illuminati whistleblowers, but my opinion is that Jay Parker is the only one who provides information beyond what diligent truthers provide. He provides some substantive information that can only be gleaned from the inside. Jay Parker is a member of the DuPont dynasty, a major Illuminati bloodline. His last name is DuPont because his mother is the DuPont. So this ties in with another topic which I've discussed. A month ago, I spoke about April 15th as a historical Illuminati ritual sacrificial date. Abraham Lincoln was shot on April 15th. The Titanic sank on April 15th. The Boston Marathon bombing also happened on April 15th, which is also tax day in the United States. This year, the Notre Dame Cathedral and Al-Aqsa Mosque both experienced fires on April 15th. To that list, I added the April 15th, 1989 Hillsborough football/soccer stadium disaster in Sheffield, England, the worst sports disaster in British history, called out as a Freemasonic ritual by the families of the victims, something that would never happen in the United States. Officially, 96 supporters of Liverpool Football Club died in that disaster. 96, the Gematria number of Freemasons. I pointed out that the major synchronicity between the April 15th Boston Marathon bombing and the April 15th Hillsborough Stadium disaster is that Liverpool Football Club is currently owned by the Boston-based Fenway Sports Group, who also own Major League Baseball's Boston Red Sox. So every year, Fenway Sports Group co-founders Tom Warner and John Henry face the dilemma of which April 15th memorial to attend, Liverpool or Boston. Here is where some of Jay Parker's revelations are validated. Jay Parker reveals that the satanic dark occultist elite often leave a code in the naming of locations as a satanic signature. That signature code indicates that they founded and or practiced presently, or at one time in the past, sorcery and rituals in that location. That satanic Illuminati code is the suffix ton, T-O-N, at the end of a name. For example, J. Parker is a DuPont who headquartered in the state of Delaware, whose largest city is Wilmington. The end is T-O-N, an indication of its founding by Illuminati sorcerers and ritual abusers. Legendary truther movie director Stanley Kubrick knew the code. In his Elite Insider Whistleblower movie, Eyes Wide Shut, the location of the iconic ritual and masquerade event, whose exterior was an actual Rothschild mansion, was Somerton, T-O-N suffix, a satanic signature. The grandest of satanic rituals was the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. As a climax to the ritual, the new World Trade Center is located on Fulton Street. Illuminati/Saturnian Corporation, Nike, is intentionally located in Beaverton, Oregon. Nike poster child Michael Jordan's father was ritualistically sacrificed in Lumberton, North Carolina. And here's where Gematria further validates it. If you look at the Gematria of Beaverton, that's the hometown of Nike, and Lumberton, where Michael Jordan's father was sacrificed, they match up in Gematria at 39 and 51 in two of the four base ciphers. Beaverton is also 102, and Lumberton is 120. So Lumberton and Beaverton, they both end with ton, both related to Nike and Saturnian sacrifice, and it's validated in Gematria. There are multiple examples of this suffix TON, but this also applies to the April 15th rituals of Liverpool Football Club and Boston Marathon bombing. The Boston Marathon bombing occurred at the finish line on Boylston Street. Liverpool's ritual disaster occurred at the Hillsborough Stadium, Sheffield, England, in the neighborhood of Hourton. Notice the ton and the owl in the name. The synchronicity goes beyond the fact that Boston Red Sox owners also own Liverpool Football Club and both have April 15th disasters. Do the Gematria on Boylston and Hourton, and you get a perfect match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers. Boylston's 122, Hourton's 122. Boylston 94, Hourton 94. Boylston 40, Hourton 40. The Boston Marathon starts in the suburb of Hopkinton. Hopkinton matches Boylston and Hourton in 2 out of 4 base ciphers. Also consider that this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Hillsborough Hourton sacrifice, and Liverpool Football Club has reached the final of the UEFA Champions League, which is the Super Bowl of soccer, to be played on June 1st. If you spell out June 1st and compare it to Hourton, you get the Gematria match in 2 out of 4 base ciphers, now 122 and 41. Hopkinton, Boylston, Hourton, and June 1st, all sum to 122 in the simplest base cipher, ordinal. I don't know if this means Liverpool's going to win. Maybe they will, whether it's part of the sacrifice or not, but that remains to be seen. It is also noteworthy that Fenway Sports Group are the marketing managers of LeBron James, for whom they arranged a 2% stake purchase of Liverpool Football Club. So LeBron James owns 2% of Liverpool Football Club. This ties LeBron James in with Boston, I remember about the 114 relating to the Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon bombing was the Boston Marathon where the bombing occurred was won by Lelila Desisa Benti. That name, Lelila Desisa Benti, which comes to 114. Desisa Benti's birthday is January 14th, 114. And the year of the Boston Marathon bombing, 2013, the Boston Red Sox went on to win the 114th World Series. Also, the term Ides of April. The Ides refers to the 15th of a month. Ides of April comes to 114. LeBron James comes to 114. Also, there's an interesting synchronicity. Recently, there was reported a death of an employee at a restaurant owned by Tiger Woods.
Right.
And his last name was Immesberger was his last name. Immesberger. Immesberger. It's interesting that if you compare Immesberger and Ides of April, they have a perfect match, Gematria jackpot, in all four base ciphers. So I don't know if that's part of the ritual. I'm pretty sure it is.
Huh.
But yeah, those are my observations for today. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, that's awesome. I did not know that about Ton. And right away, what it had me thinking of was Washington, the nation's capital, also the 42nd state. So, yeah, I'm going to really pay attention to that. The Ton thing, I had no idea. So you're always coming up with these great pieces of information.
Yeah, I could have had more examples, but you also notice it in a lot of horror movies. Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing with Jay Parker. I find that a lot of the things he says, this is real insider information. This is not something that it's some very diligent, investigators have come up with stuff. But as an insider, you want special gems that you can only come from the inside. And I find that Jay Parker has a lot of that, and a lot of his stuff when he says them. If you look into it, they actually check out. I have more things that Jay Parker has said that are really fascinating. This is just one of them. Yeah, but look out for the TON.
So again, at the beginning, you said anywhere where a ton's been put on the name, it's where some sort of magical rituals taken place by the Illuminati in the past. Is that how you said that?
Yeah, he said that they founded that location. It was founded by them. And when they found the place, they also perform rituals, which often involve sacrifices, like Michael Jordan's father, Lumberton, North Carolina.
Right.
They often perform ritual sacrifices on those locations. And even if they may not be doing it presently, they were doing it at one time in the past.
Sure.
Sure. Stanley Kubrick clearly knew the code as well. Like he knew a lot of codes. He used Gematria as well. Yeah, I could go on all day on Stanley Kubrick.
Sure.
Stanley Kubrick clearly knew the code. Yeah.
Huh. Well, that is very fascinating. And now I'm sure it's going to be jumping out at me all the time every time I see this ton ending. So I'll be sure to make a point of that.
Beaverton, Oregon. That's your home state.
Yeah, that's a suburb of Portland, and you're absolutely right. That's where Nike's headquartered. There's a lot of money in Beaverton too. So, learn something new every day. Yeah, great work as always, friend. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Everybody loves you. All right, keep up the great work. Can't wait for the next call.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Take care, friend. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
What I noticed also about the just the numeric value of ton, T-O-N, is if you just use the alphabetic order, it sums to 49, right? And then it made me think of Washington right away, the nation's capital, the Scottish Rite headquarters. Washington with the alphabetic order and rules numerology is 49. America with the reverse alphabetic order and rules numerology is 49. Same with Scottish, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And Actually, I noticed how many different ways ton overlaps with America. Go to, Gematria.com and type in ton and type in American and tell me what you see. I never knew about this before. I'm so intrigued. All right, let's go out to Arizona. What's going on, Arizona?
Brother, I got to follow up after that great call, man.
Well, you're a great caller, too.
That dude's he's amazing, man. He's just brilliant. I mean, the stuff he comes up with.
He's the best. He's the best. He's way better than I am. I know he always turns that down, but he is. I mean, his research is just so good. He finds the best stuff. So,
well, his research is phenomenal. You're a great teacher, though. So, I mean, I think you're the best teacher out there.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Without question, man. You taught me this, and I know you can teach this to me, and you're a great teacher. But what was I going to talk about today? Oh, I was going to bring up this thing about this show called Lucifer. Netflix picked it up in the 4th season, and let me get off of this, man. Sometimes I have an issue with my head thing, so go to the speaker. So what I caught the other night, you can watch it on Netflix. If you go to the 4th season, 4th episode, like 4-4.
Okay.
We know in Gematria, kill equals 44, right?
Right.
There's this character in there, and she's part of this detective, unit. She's not a main character, but she always has these just bizarre T-shirts she wears, like underneath something else, or sometimes it seems like every episode they want you to see what's on that T-shirt. Well, I just happened to look at the last one, and I never even did Gematria on any of it, right? And her T-shirt, it said, "Every now and then I fall apart." I'm like, that's pretty weird. Kind of a weird thing to say. But when I put this thing in the Gematria calculator, I came up with some interesting values. Think about it. 4th season, 4th episode, like kill. Every now and then I fall apart equals 289 in English ordinal. That's the simplest method of this. That's like 289 is like 17 squared. Like kill also equals 17.
Right.
And then reduction, our purest cipher, the most relevant, it equals 118. Just like that number, Zach, you've been talking about now for over a year.
Right.
This November, August 11th date. When you flip it around, we know in most parts of the world it's written 118,
Right.
August 11th. In Gematria, death equals 118.
Right.
And then the other thing I found interesting, when you flip the alphabet around, this statement, every now and then I fall apart, it equals 134.
Tisha
Just
B'Av.
like Tisha B'Av equals 134.
Right.
And that's the day we've been looking at now.
Huh.
So it's just amazing how these clues, they just keep putting them in a pile. And I mean, if you just did an archive of this, August 11th, 8/11, 118, just think of how many. I mean, well, you can go back to your blog. I'm sure most of it gets put on there, but look how much of it gets missed.
Sure. Absolutely. It's everywhere. That's interesting that the show's Lucifer, because some people say the Jewish Messiah, who's supposed to come at the time of the Third Temple, which is what this whole Tisha B'Av thing is, part of the prophecy of the coming Third Temple. Some people say the Jewish Messiah is Lucifer. And Lucifer also sums to 74, like Messiah, like Jewish, like a cult. That all too familiar number. What's that episode about?
Doesn't Jew equal 38? Doesn't Jew equal 38 too?
It does.
Lucifer equals 38 in reduction.
Yeah, August 11th has 38 date numerology as well. What was that season 4 episode, or episode number 4 about, when she was wearing the shirt?
That's a good question. I need to go back and look at it again.
Okay, I never seen it before. You know what's a trip though? Is you called in and
I just watch it here and there. What's that?
Well, you called in this morning to bring up this show, right? And I haven't seen it before. I knew that there was a show out there called Lucifer, but I hadn't seen it. And I was at the gym today, and these people at the front desk, when they check you in, they were talking about Lucifer, the show. And I was like, that's weird. He called me about that this morning. Then I hear them talking about it. I never heard anybody talk about this Lucifer show before today. So must be all the rage right now.
What's weird about it, that same day I saw the 811 on that jockey. Right? So the 811, that same night is when I saw this. Every now and then I fall apart on her T-shirt. Same night, right after I was telling you about that.
Wow.
So it's just trippy, man. It's funny too because this wasn't supposed to. It wasn't supposed to continue. It was supposed to be done after 3 seasons because Fox wasn't going to pick it up. Well, then Lucifer, that's the Tom Ellis guy. That's the guy that plays Lucifer, Tom Ellis. It's funny because Tom Ellis equals 33 in reduction. And when he came out on June 15th of 2019 and said that the season was confirmed was coming back, right? Funny because that has a life lesson number that day of 33, just like Tom Ellis equals 33.
I just looked him up. He's born November 17th, the 321st day of the year, leaving 44 days remaining. You were just talking about 44,
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tom Ellis also equals 111 when you flip the alphabet around, just like his character's name, Lucifer Morningstar. He's just 111.
Right.
It's just funny because the characters all line up with the names of what they're playing, and it's just so in your face, man. This is these people's world. That's why when you know the code that you broke, brother, you see right through all of it, and it's all bullshit, all of it.
What was written on the shirt, every now and then I fall apart. I know those are song lyrics, but I can't place what song it is. Something about I need you now more than ever. Right. What song is that?
Every now and then I fall apart. Oh my God. Yeah, that does sound like.
And then there's something about I need you now more than ever. That's like the next, but I still can't place what song that is. Total Eclipse of the Heart? Is that what it's called? Total Eclipse of the Heart? Is that the song?
Yeah, who does that?
I got to look it up.
Is that Pat Benatar?
I'm not sure, but I know I've heard that song before. Yeah, Bonnie Tyler. Bonnie Tyler, that's who it is. Okay.
Bonnie Tyler.
I'm gonna have to look into this more. I'm gonna have to check out this show and everything. You got me going now. I'm after all the 118 clues. Oh, that song came out in 83. 83. Song came out in 83.
Oh, really?
Oh,
man, murder equals 83, just like Murder by Numbers. And the song Police came out.
Right.
What the hell's the name of that song? Why's that not coming to me? Murder by Numbers.
Right.
83.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, man.
Interesting.
It's funny, the one other thing, this Chloe Decker, she's the main detective in it that, falls in love with Lucifer. Her character name, Chloe Decker, equals 55 when you flip the alphabet around, just like Satan equals 55.
Wild. And God, when you flip the alphabetical order around, is 55 too. That's why Marilyn Manson has that song, Say 10, in the chorus of something like, when you say God, I say 10. And he's SAY and then the number 10. And when you add 1 through 10 together, it's 55. So it just goes to show there's all sorts of people in the world who are aware of this code. It's just the common folk like us who grew up in the public school system and stuff. We never got any taste of this. So
none at all, man. None at all. It just makes you wonder in the entertainment industry how many people are aware of it. I think some of the athletes, they just basically know when their number's called, they're going to have a good or a bad game,
Right.
I think that's just a lot of them. But it's obvious, people like LeBron James and get higher up into this, or they put them in TV or back in coaching. They're more aware of it.
Right.
It's a club, man. It's a big club, man, and we're not a part of it.
Yeah, just like George Carlin said, right.
It pisses me off, man, because I want to shut the club down,
Exactly.
I want to shut it down, but too many people are just happy with where they're at, I guess.
Right. Hey, did you see today that there's the story about the band member from Slipknot? His daughter died over the weekend at age 22,
Yeah,
and then
I heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you talk about it.
Her funeral's going to be at the Scottish Rite facility. Go figure.
Yeah. I heard the girl call in today and say that the money, where they sent the money to? Are you serious? I mean, this stuff's just in your face, man. Where was it going to the Scottish something? The money that they were sending.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick.
It is, man.
All right, brother.
Hey, great show as always. And hey, one other thing I want to tell your listeners out there. Sign up for that Patreon, man. This guy's got a nugget, I think. I think he's got a real nugget for tomorrow for this PGA thing, but you're not going to get it unless you sign up for Patreon. Go sign up for it. And not only that, you're supporting this cause. And dude, I wish you'd just raise it to $10, man, because then this movement could even just push further. You know, we could get it bigger, you know.
Well, I'll think about it. Appreciate it, friend. We're going to commercial. We'll be right back, everybody. Thanks as always. Later, man. So I don't want to eat too much. I feel bad about eating on the camera. I miss the days of doing this when it wasn't on live because I used to chow down during the commercial break, and I don't want to eat that way. You guys will all think I'm a pig. But for the person who just left the comment that I should put out everything for free, you know what? I hear you, and it's not that I disagree with what you're saying, but do realize I put out a ton of content for free. I don't know anyone else in the world who's putting out more content for free. It's just the thing is, you know, I did this for nearly 5 years where everything was free. And to do that, I ate up all of my own savings, which was the product of me working hard for my entire life. So I paid to put out this research for free for 5 years. And in the course of that time, I went through a lot of hardships. I had my house burglarized. I lost all of my financial, you know, stability that I had there saved up, or almost all of it. I also had a car crash through my house, and I had to fight with insurance for nearly 6 months to get them to pay for a decent percentage. I had to pay over $7,000 out of my own pocket. And, you know, things cost in this world. So I give out a lot of very good information on my Patreon for a very low price. It almost is free. And like I said, if I can get 10,000 of you to sign up for $1 a month, I'll just put out everything at the $1 tier level. And $1 a month isn't much to pledge for this work. And right now there's more than 2,000 people supporting there at $5 a month. And I'm telling you, if 10,000 of you can pledge at $1 a month, I'll knock all the tier prices down to $1, and I'll put out every single thing for $1, okay? And again, the whole goal of having this big of a revenue, because I don't need $10,000 a month. And I'm amazed that the revenue is up to $12,000 a month. I don't need $12,000 a month. I know how to live on $1,500 a month. So I'm saving all the money right now. The goal is to hire people like the New York Caller and Jonathan and, you know, whoever else wants to support that knows how to do this research and turn it into a real news network. You know, that is the goal. We're coming back from the commercial right now.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question started.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got 2 hours left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Without wasting any time, let's go out to Florida. Florida?
Hey, Zach.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
How you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Yeah, Zach's the first time caller, man. My name is Walt.
Thanks for calling, Walt.
A little bit nervous. I just want to let you know, first of all, we could hear you during the commercials.
Yeah, you're listening on the phone, I imagine. I apologize. It's because I'm doing the live stream on YouTube and I interact with the chat during the commercial, so I know that's irritating. Apologies.
Oh, okay. So they don't hear you on TFR?
Well, if you're listening on the phone, you hear me, but the people who are just listening through the website don't hear. But if you're on the phone, you do.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I just didn't want you to get in trouble, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I just want to let you know I appreciate your work, man. I've been listening to you since the whiteboard days. I'm a Patreon. I bought your book.
Thank you.
You were live on, I guess you didn't see All in the Family and Jeffersons tonight, live?
I didn't see.
Norman Lear? Okay, well, let me tell you, man. What do you think about Kamala Harris being nominated for president in 2020?
I think she's got a shot to be the Democratic frontrunner because, again, this is going to be the 59th U.S. presidential election. And we know how they like to code 59 on Black history. Negro, slave, blues, they're all 59. And that show, what's it called? The Boondocks. They had a cartoon episode years ago where it was Oprah Winfrey who was running in this election, I believe. And obviously, Kamala Harris isn't Oprah Winfrey, but they're both Black women. And I am really considering that. So there's also something very interesting. I'm going to look this up while you talk. I'm going to find this post, but I did something about Kamala Harris and the date of the Democratic Convention. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but just speak your mind. And when you're done, I'll bring up this point about the Democratic Convention upcoming.
Sure. I just thought it was very interesting that they brought up these reruns from the 70s, man, of All in the Family and the Jeffersons, and it was all about empowering women.
Okay.
Especially Black women.
Uh-huh.
and I looked it up. I said, well, who's the Black women running for president this year? Kamala Harris was
right.
4th place. I think she's paying like 1,100 to 1 or something.
Is that right?
And I think it's going to be against Donald Trump, the racist, against Kamala Harris.
It very well could be.
What do you think about that? I just want to know what you thought about that.
It's very possible that that's what it is. Going through my notes right here. Let me see. What is it?
And the only reason I know this is from watching you all this time, man. You open my eyes, man. You know, I watch this stuff and I can see right through everything that's going on now. It's like ridiculous, man. I can't stand it.
Okay, so here's what I noticed about the Democratic Convention. So Kamala Harris had her first campaign function 99 days from her birthday this year. And then the Democratic Convention, which will be October 20th, 2020, that will be 99 days from her birthday as well, the way that maps out. So it's 99 in both of them. and 99 is an important number. The United States of America equals 99. The United States was named as such on 9/9, September 9th in history. So there seems to be something kind of magical about that alignment, and it's got my eyes open.
Okay, I just want to know what you thought, man. I didn't know if I was crazy or because it seems so obvious to me, man. I'm like, well, let me see what Zach thinks about that, man. You know what I mean?
Sure. The other thing is,
but you know,
I was gonna say,
appreciate you, man. I really missed you the last 2 weeks, and my condolences to you, the loss of your grandma.
thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah. My grandma is a sore spot for me because I was supposed to see her, and I was on my way to see her, and she passed just before I got there to visit her. So, and I told her I was coming to see her, so I feel like I didn't follow through with what I said, but I was just a little bit too late. So, but I appreciate the condolences. So, thank you.
You got it, buddy. I'm gonna be real quick. Let somebody else on the line, man. Thanks a lot for answering my call, buddy.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for calling in for the first time. Always good to hear new voices.
Hey, good to hear from you, man. Thanks.
All right, yeah, you have a good night. The other thing about a woman following Trump is that, remember, the Simpsons cartoon foreshadowed the Trump presidency, and the story was in the Simpsons that Donald Trump is followed by the first female president. So, another thing to consider. Let's go out to Pinehurst, Texas.
What's going on, Zach? How you doing?
Hey, thanks for calling.
I don't know what to say. It's not every night you hear your birthday mentioned and the day you were born and the year you graduated from high school and then the town you live in, Ton. I live in a suburb of Houston. I was born May 6th, 5'5". I'm 55. Graduated from high school in 83. I could go on, but
funny. It's your night.
It is funny. But that New York caller, man, oh man, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Condolences to you.
Thanks,
your grandmother's passing. I know it's tough, and you were missed. So that's what I have to say, buddy.
Well, thank you so much for always listening and calling in tonight. Good to hear your voice.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. And I don't plan on missing any shows for a long time. I think in all the years I've done this, I think we've missed 4 shows now. So we don't miss shows very often. And I didn't mean to miss 2 weeks in a row, but there shouldn't be any for a while. Now we have another brilliant caller out in the Bay Area. How are you tonight, friend?
Doing well. How about you, Zach?
Doing well, thank you.
I'm sorry about your grandmother that you couldn't make it in time. I'm sure that just eats you up. I'm so sorry.
It was like unbelievable to me. I was like, really? Really? I couldn't believe it. My dad called me. I was like, man, I'm on my way to see her right now. So.
That hurts.
Yeah. The
shout out to the last caller. I graduated in 1983 also. And my birthday's in May, so that was cool to hear from him. And about Kamala Harris, she's doing a lot to connect with the African American community. I think she announced her candidacy on Martin Luther King Day. But the truth is, her mother is from India, and her grandfather was a Jamaican slaveholder. Apparently, he was dark complexion in Jamaica, but somehow he was of a class that actually owned slaves in Jamaica when slavery was still legal. So she's, to me, as great a deceiver as Hillary Clinton, evil gangster of a woman. I mean, and she lies so blatantly and just depends on people to not know just the most recent past. Like, she claimed that she enjoyed smoking cannabis recreationally in college, and tried to connect with the, people who appreciate that. But the truth is, when she was Attorney General of California, she was horrible for the patients, for the growers. She put everybody through hell. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, hypocrite. But it sounds like a politician. Sounds like a politician.
Yeah, but she's just hardcore liar.
Sure.
She was, when she first became Attorney General, she went in, got into a romantic affair with Willie Brown, who was 30 years older than her and married. And after that, Kamala Harris rose really fast through the ranks, and she actually was able to hold 2 jobs and make a ton of money in the state government. And she's just awful. I can't stand her. So a little bit about her. And, Jay Parker is a great whistleblower, and he's a fan of yours, Zach.
Really?
He told me that he thinks you're scary. That's what Jay told me.
Huh. So you've talked to him before, huh?
Yeah, he makes orgonite, and I bought some of his orgonite, and we've become kind of long distance friends. We talk on the phone pretty regularly.
Very
He's
cool.
a really, really amazing person, and he has a profound knowledge and wisdom and insight.
Well, I'm going to have to reach out to him then. He said I was scary, like in a bad way?
No, like scary, just how on it you are and how much truth you're giving out and the things that you say. And yeah, scary in a good way.
All right. I'm going to have to connect with him then. Very cool.
Yeah. So can I give a little update on the Oroville Dam situation?
That's what I was going to ask you about, please.
Thank you. So the dam is now over 891 feet, which makes it less than 10 feet from overtopping the emergency spillway, which could put the earth structure of the dam in jeopardy. And it was interesting we're at 891. There was a point when it hit 888, and 888 was 13 feet from the emergency spillway over top.
Huh.
Yeah. And, there's a thing about the gold, Oroville, Oro means gold. And the company that cleared away the debris and rebuilt the spillway, which now seems to be failing, is Kiewit Construction. And they were involved in building the Denver airport and also the Teton Dam, which was an earthen dam that failed in Wyoming in the 80s.
Huh.
And what's interesting is that Kiewit Construction is not a dam building company, but a dam demolition company. And they just got a contract to remove 3 dams on the Klamath River.
Huh.
Their other specialty, interestingly, is building industrial scale mines.
Huh. I see how all this comes together. Yeah. Strange.
Yeah. So there's inches of rain forecasted for the next week or to the end of the month in the Oroville watershed. And the big spring storm system is known as El Nino.
Right.
And El Nino is 69 in simple gematria, like one eye and like false flag, and also like the word Cappy, as in Isaac Cappy.
Huh.
And then the lakes above Lake Oroville are also filled to capacity. So it's not like the upstream dams can hold the water back. They're going to have to let it go when rain happens, and also the snow melt, which is at 160% of normal. And all of that is yet to melt off and hit the dams in the watershed. And what's interesting is several of the reservoirs that are upstream from Oroville are controlled by the infamous PG&E.
Right. So yeah, I got to ask you this.
Responsible for the.
I got to ask you this. So Marty McSuperfly, shout out to him. He's a good contributor. He's the comedian in the comedy comment section. But he did a nice little decode on the Butte Valley Reservoir, which is one of the things that's held in place by this dam. And what he noticed is Butte Valley Reservoir equals 118, that number that we see again and again this year. And Oroville equals 134, like Tisha B'Av, which falls on August 11th, 11/8. And he's wondering if maybe this could be part of the August 11th ritual. But I was thinking about it, I was like, is August 11th too far into the year? I guess snow is still melting in the mountains around that time of year. But what do you think about that?
I don't see how the situation can last that long. It's critical now, and it'll be critical probably through June.
Right.
But past that point, the snow melt will be ebbing at that point, and I think we'll be more out of the woods.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too, but I thought it was interesting how the numbers lined up. So, okay.
Yeah. So PG&E's lakes above Oroville, they have a system of, I think, 5 lakes, and that's known as the Stairway of Power.
Huh.
And that's 214 in simple gematria. And then the largest lake that's in the Stairway of Power is called Lake Almanor, which is 103 in simple, which is a 13. 103 also equals swastika, sorcery, and great flood is 103.
Huh.
And then, and just down the river, down the North Fork of the Feather River from Lake Almanor and the Stairway of Power, the Bilderberg group will be meeting in June.
Right.
In Sierra City. And Sierra City is 777 in Jewish, which is order out of chaos.
Right.
And Bilderberg group is 175, a storm is coming.
Huh.
And the North Fork of the Feather River is 1503 in Jewish, which is 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They're going to be staying at Harrington Sierra Pines Resort, which the Bilderberg website actually said they chose for its heliport, that's, helicopter airport, which is really weird. And Harrington Sierra Pines Resort is 2250 in Jewish, and 2250 is like 1111.5. So that's 1111 plus a pentagram. And then 2250 equals the year when the apocalypse starts.
Huh.
And the weirdest thing of all so far about Sierra City is that many people believe that Adolf Hitler's final resting place is outside of Sierra City at Sardine Lake.
Huh.
And Sardine Lake is 99 in simple and 594 in English, which is also a 99. And of course, that's an upside down 66. And Adolf Hitler is 660 in English, which is 99 upside down.
Huh.
And that's all in Sierra City.
Very interesting. Do you know what day specifically the Bilderberg meeting is going to be on this year?
No, I don't. It's lots of people have been trying to find that, but nobody's been able to.
Because something that might be
Jay is actually the person that told me about that the Bilderberg group was going to be in Sierra City. He's the source of that little nugget.
Okay. Yeah, because with regards to PG&E, remember that the big tragedy in California was November 8th, the PG&E, another 118 date. It seems that they always meet early in June. Sometimes it's the beginning of the month, and sometimes it's like the second week. So it's hard to pin down the exact date, but I just wonder how, because I have a feeling if something bad happens at Oroville, it's going to be synced with what happened November 8th. So.
Well, Jay thinks that it would be just like those Bilderbergers to be in Oroville when the dam breaks,
Right.
so they can fly around in their helicopters and sip Dom Perignon and watch the whole thing. And they get the added bonus of cruising over to next door Paradise and seeing the wreckage from the giant fire.
Right.
So that would be really special, you know, for the billionaire pedophiles who can just, I mean, it's so hard to find a great thrill these days for them. So this would actually be a really awesome opportunity for sick people like that.
What's this would be a little bit late for the typical Bilderberg meeting, but the date June 19th is really curious because it's 223 days after the November 8th fires, and June 19th is also the date with the 44 and 64 numerology next month, which is the date where we always see these great tragedies. Like this month, the 44-64 date was the storms in the Midwest that just happened. So yeah.
Another date to look at is the day when, in 2017, when the dam almost broke and all those people were on the road trying to get out. And if the dam had broken, they all would have been under like 30 feet of water, and they were freaking out and people were running from their cars. And and that date, I think that was February 11th, 2017. So that would be an interesting date to use as well, because I think of that day as the drill.
Okay, right. They put it in our heads. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, they have it all dialed in by now. They've figured out how to harvest the gold. They've done they've worked out all the kinks, and now, you know, so the drill was really useful. And it seems like there's a chapter 2, because the whole thing is setting up like a big deja vu.
Right, right. I'm gonna have to go back and look at those dates. I see it was February 14th, 2017 that they stopped the evacuation order and then just were on a watch. The damage occurred February 7th, the 38th day of the year. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this more, but yeah, I've been keeping my eye on Oroville ever since you brought it up, but it's so hard to get much information. So
there's a major, not only blackout, but disinformation campaign going on as well on YouTube. And it's a trip to just watch all of it happen. A couple other things I note when you were talking about the number 52. In 1951, California State Engineer A.D. Edmonston proposed the Feather River Project. So that was the very beginning of developing this, and kind of they were able to get the project going after a big flood happened. So this is like a poster child for disaster capitalism. This has been going on since the 50s, and the very first day that this started was a 52-day date by a man whose name ended in T-O-N, just so you know.
Perfect. That ton thing we're going to notice a lot now. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So great show today, great callers. Thanks for taking my call. I will bow out and wait for the next caller, Zach.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Glad to hear your voice. You have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, she's actually having to live with the threat of Oroville because she lives in that area. And it's just so sick to think that we got to live in a world like this, where we have psychopaths that rule over us. And I mean, that's the downside of being awake, right? I mean, if you're in Oroville and living in the clouds, you're not worried about anything, but that could come back to haunt you in a big way. You could be the person that ends up under 30 feet of water. But, you know, just being aware, all of this stuff, it weighs on the mind. So it sounds like she does well with it, though. You know, she's aware, but not drowned in it, if you will. So we got about a minute before the commercial break. Rather than go to the next caller, and the next caller is going to be another great caller from New York. The two gentlemen who typically call us, they're up next. Then we got New England, Delaware, Tulsa, Medford, Oregon, Illinois. And looks like that's the end of the line. So we actually don't have that many callers tonight. But we will follow up with those calls right after the break. Again, just wanted to talk about a death that was in the headlines real quick before we go to commercial. There's that band Slipknot, metal band. They have the song Gematria, the killing name. Remember, just using the alphabetic order. English 74, Gematria 74, killing 74, Masonic 74, occult 74. This code very important to Masonry. One of the founding members' daughters just died at the age of 22. That founding member's stage name is Clown. Clown equals 22. Very numerological death. And then today on the 22nd, it was announced that her funeral will be at the Scottish Rite building, the Freemasons. And that's what I've been saying for years. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, a lot of power, influence over government, media, entertainment. It's not hard to see who's pulling the strings. So check out that video. We'll be right back, everybody. Quick commercial break. All right, we got 2 minutes of commercial break. Somebody left a comment. I'm still waiting to see Zach take a drink of water, so I know he's not a robot. I know that the last episode I did, somebody left a similar comment, and I drank water. So if you want to go back and watch the last TFR broadcast, I was drinking water on there. I could go for a glass of water. I do drink a lot of water. I definitely drank water before the show started. But I can talk, most of the time without water. Speaking of which, you saying that reminded me. I did an interview that was supposed to go on television in Pasadena, a channel called Pasadena Media, and I've been waiting to hear back about when it'll air. I was told that it'll be this coming Monday morning, early in the morning, like 7 a.m., Pasadena Media. And you don't have to be in Pasadena, California to watch it. If you go to the website Pasadena Media, it should show up on the website the day it airs. So Pasadena Media, they're a small independent television company in the California area. I did an interview for them maybe a few weeks back now, maybe even a month ago. So I'm surprised it took this long for them to put it on, but it's supposed to air this coming Monday morning is what I was told. So it'll be the first time being on television, which is kind of cool, but it's just small independent television. I don't know what ESPN spoof we're talking about here. I guess I missed the conversation. Let's see. People are asking what I was eating. Oh, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. It's called Lepetto. It's a Burmese dish. If you've ever seen Anthony Bourdain's show, when he goes to Burma, he laughs about how all they eat there is Lepetto. He says, everywhere I go, this is all they eat is Lepetto. And it's the traditional food of Burma. It's fermented tea leaves, cabbage, mixed in vegetables. We put in tomato and cilantro. And also these dried beans. And then we used to always eat it with white rice, but for years I said, we got to stop eating this white rice. It's not healthy. Let's eat it with some quinoa or some brown rice. So now we eat it with quinoa, which is pretty good food for you. Okay, we're coming back from the commercial. All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour and a half left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Next up, New York. How are you this evening, friend?
Hey, brother Zach, how you feeling? I'm flying solo tonight.
All right. Well, I'm doing well. Good to hear you.
Well, I've been going through withdrawal these last couple of weeks, but again, first of all, sir, seriously, my thoughts and prayers and my deepest condolences with you and your family about the loss of your loved one.
Thank you.
But I know that you were able to use this time because you needed a break, sir, and I guess it was time to take a break, because you've been working real hard at this, and I'm so thankful for what you've done, what you've risked, what you put on the line. And I remember not too long ago, last August, which is right around my birthday, when those guys were knocking at your door and you were ready to give up, and the girl was like pissed and shit. But me and Big Al, we stepped up and said, send that man a Cino. We need one. And now you're rolling, all right? And I'm glad, because couldn't have happened to a finer man, a real truth seeker, I might add. Part of my message is, what really disgusts me are these, I think it was in Ezekiel or Isaiah. It was chapter 32 or 33 about the dumb dogs that don't bark. And that was reference to the preachers or the prophets that are not really yelling out what's wrong. And, the shedding of this innocent blood really offends me, because I consider myself a man of the spirit. Not religion, okay? These Muslim people who they scapegoated, that they mutilated, that they killed, these dying people around the world, they're not our enemies. They are created enemies, created by our press, our leaders, and our ignorance. I think it was Sir Joseph Stamford, ex-director of the Bank of England, said, the bankers own the earth. Take it away from them, but leave them the power to create the money, and with a flick of the pen, they will create enough to buy it back again. However, take it away from them, the power to create money, and all the great fortunes like mine will disappear. And they ought to disappear. But this would be a better world to live. But if you wish to remain slaves of the bankers and pay for the cost of your own slavery, let them continue to create money. So Joseph Stamp. One of the ladies, I think it was, female callers, said wanted to nominate you for president. I concur. I second that notion. We need to force the Congress, the legal authority, to shut down the Federal Reserve. The government has the authority to issue money without paying interest to the banks and gangsters. This would take away power to control our government from the bankers, and only vote for the candidates who vow to shut down the Federal Reserve System. So I'd like to see you as president of the United States. But we know that's not going to happen, Zach. Right. And what we got to do is we got to get out there on the street. And I know you're going to a conference. I'm going to probably head down to Philadelphia, but I'm not going to participate in anybody that I think is a pretender. Because anybody that doesn't call out the names and name the names of all the culprits, whether it's these fake Zionist Jews, whether it's a Jesuit order or the Protestant pretenders or the atheists, I don't buy it. But I want activism in the street. And I know there's going to be a group of us down there, and I think, universities, college campuses, going and engaging people in dialogue, stadiums is a good thing. And when you make it to New York, buddy, I'll show you around. I know the ropes. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for what you've done. There's no way I will be able to repay you. And all humanity owes you a great deep debt. And with that said, I want that guy from New York to be your first employee, because that dude's decode is immense. And I'm glad that he's doing well. So that's it for me, brother. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good fight. Peace, brother. Stay safe.
Thanks so much, friend.
Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, always appreciate your calls and your generosity. And I mean, you said you could never pay me back, man. You've already done a ton. You're a great contributor to this program. You're very generous. I've asked you to stop sending me. You keep sending me. You're just so generous, man. So it's people like you that keep it going. And like you said, last August, things were looking bad, and you were one of the first people to step up. So always grateful for that.
Thank you, sir. Be well.
All right. You have a good night, man.
Peace.
And what he's just saying about Philadelphia, again, the dates are set for Philadelphia. I'm going to be in Philadelphia September 13th through the 15th, and I'm planning on extending that trip. I've never been to the Northeast before. I know that it's close to New York and DC, so I'm thinking I'll get on the train and travel around. When I signed up for this conference, I didn't realize how much it would cost for people to get a ticket to go to the thing. I had no idea. If you're not aware, the Anarchadelphia conference I'll be speaking at, it costs $350 to get in the door, which is a lot. Trust me, I know. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to do is figure out some spots in the Philadelphia area, in the New York area, in the DC area, where I can set some dates in advance and say, hey, I'm going to be here. If you can't afford to get in the door for $350, you know, here's a spot where we can come meet up for free and say hello. And I'm going to try to get some of my books in print by then. Maybe you want to get an autographed book. I'll have some of those, hopefully. T-shirt, something like that. But I'm also thinking that maybe the meeting spot, because it's September, the weather should still be good. It's, you know, it's late summer. Maybe we meet at a public park and we have like a picnic or something. You know, bring your own food, get together, hang out in the park. And then maybe we also do some public activism together. First, we eat together and say hello and just, you know, meet people who care about truth in the community. And then maybe we bring a rolled up sign with us or a piece of cardboard with something or whatever clever idea. And we go out for, you know, a few hours and maybe put together a little mini film, you know, public activism, spreading the knowledge on the street, something like that. So, and that could be the beginning of something a lot bigger. But that's what I've been marinating on. I was imagining that tickets to Anarchadelphia would be like $20. I honestly don't know why they cost so much. It must cost a lot for the building. But I've had a lot of people say, Zach, have you seen the ticket price? I can't afford that. I really want to come. And so anyway, for people who are overwhelmed by the ticket price, I'm going to figure out an alternative way to meet up. And just want to let you know that. And still got about 4 months until the date. I guess a little bit less than 4 months now. But the plan is to go to some of those bigger cities and meet a lot of the great supporters. And again, have a nice, you know, afternoon together and create a memorable experience. So that said, let's go out to Nebraska.
Oh, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. I just had a couple quick points. First off, I noticed that Rodney Hood, NBA basketball player, I don't know if you picked up on this, but the last 3 teams he's played for, the last 3 years, they all were swept by Golden State.
Really?
Going back to the, going back to, I think, 2016, 2017 season. Played for the Jazz, they got swept. Then he played for Cleveland, they got swept. And then he just got done playing with the Blazers, they got swept. So maybe if Hood gets traded again next year, maybe the team he plays for next year, if they meet up with Golden State, maybe that's a little riddle for them to get swept. Who knows? But I thought that was pretty funny.
That is interesting. And I just want to say real quick, if the NBA wasn't fixed and it wasn't all about like who has the name and whatever, Rodney Hood would probably be a pretty good player. He might even be the best player on the Blazers right now. But, you know, they all have to play their roles. But that's really interesting about how he gets swept. I didn't realize that.
Yep, the last 3 years, I thought that was pretty funny. And what was the connection between, I think, Justin Rose, the golfer, and the number 73?
Oh, you're talking about for tomorrow's tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, so his birthday is July 30th. 730.
Okay,
It's the
130.
73rd tournament
Yeah.
tomorrow. So that tournament is associated with Ben Hogan, and Ben Hogan equals 66 like Justin Rose, and the rest of the riddles on Patreon. But for anybody who wants to go out and investigate, here's your clue. Justin Rose, 66, Ben Hogan, 66. Justin Rose has to do a chance to do something that only Ben Hogan's done at that course before. So there's something else about 66, but I'm going to leave it for the investigative person out there to go figure it out themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the Patreon, so I caught all the riddles, but I don't know if you caught that the purse for the tournament is actually 7.2.
It is. I know, that made me laugh. Yep, it sure is.
Yeah, that's funny. That's crazy. But yep, that's all I had today, Zach. Yep. So go ahead, go to the next caller. I'll stay on the line.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that.
All right, have a good night. All right, Delaware. Great caller. What's up, Delaware?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
Yeah, condolences out to your family and your grandmother passing. I know how you feel. My mother passed away when I was 12, so yeah, I definitely know how you feel. And yeah, condolences and prayers out to your family.
Thank you.
And yeah, I just want to talk about a few things that I've been going through. A few weeks ago, I went to a baseball game. I saw a minor league baseball game, and saw a couple of friends. And two of them were kind of like mocking me, like, "Oh, what's going to happen this year in the football season?" You know, and a bunch of other nonsense. And two of them that I know, they both went to UNC Charlotte, and they kind of like caught feelings and were mad at me for me saying a bunch of stuff about the shooting. And one of them actually lived in a building across from where the whole incident happened. And I don't know, they were kind of upset at me for saying that it was a inside job or hoax or whatever. But I know, like watching your work, seeing your work and you're seeing your work and watching your videos and everything. I know that that there's some fishy about the shooting. There's some had to happen, inside. Something that we don't know about had to happen with the shooting and whatnot.
Right. That shooting, I have to pull back up the notes, but I know they said it was on the last day of class after everyone had finished their final. So it's like, well, what a convenient time when hardly anybody's on campus. And your friends who were there, your friends who were there, did they see anything to know what happened?
One of them that went there graduated from UNCC, and I'm not sure about I'm not sure about the other friend. I'm not sure which part of campus he was on or which building he was at, but I haven't really spoken to him because he's half Jewish and he's heard some of the things I said. So I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really talk to me anymore, but like he's half Jewish and he's heard some of the things I said about Zionist Jews and Ashkenazi Jews, and I guess he's caught feelings to some of the things I said. So I haven't really spoken to him in a while.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely missed your work and everything, definitely missed your voice and hearing you talking and everything. Like I was kind of lost for a couple of weeks by being able to, hear everybody's voice live and everything. And yeah, and I'm kind of sick of the trolls on the chat, like hearing all these names like, oh, well, is Barkley Hubbard going to explain why Tiger Woods didn't win? Like, who cares if Tiger Woods didn't win? Like, we're not going to win all these bets. We're not going to hit on everything every single day.
And I'll just say real quick, if anybody's in the chat complaining that Tiger didn't win this week in the tournament, our insurance broker was Brooks Koepka. So if you made a bet on Tiger and Koepka, I don't know how you lost. The trolls are a joke. It's like, they act like I'm supposed to get every prediction correct. I get a high percentage of predictions correct. I don't know anybody else who makes predictions and gets a high percentage of their predictions correct. They like if you watch a baseball player, and if a baseball player, he hits 300, meaning he gets 3 hits out of every 10 at bats, that's considered a really good job. I know that I get a higher percentage of my picks correct than 30%. And what's the mark for what's considered like a good percentage of correct predictions? I mean, the point is the research we've done has exposed how things are rigged, scripted, you know, from sports to elections, how propaganda is contrived, how people are killed by this code. Every month I lay down the date that you're going to see suspicious celebrity deaths, and every month it's like clockwork. You know, we know what days to identify these mass shootings. They fall on these same dates, month after month after month. So, I mean, the trolls are just here to create negativity and try to create false perceptions. And it does get really old. I mean, on my Patreon page, it's the worst thing about Patreon. They drive away, you know, people who want to participate every month, because every single day on my Patreon page, it's 500 comments literally from trolls, and almost nobody else is even commenting, because all it is a flood of trolls 24/7, 365. So, I mean, if you're awake, you go, wait a minute, these people are trolling all around the clock. I mean, who would spend all day on somebody's Patreon page? Like, literally, there must be multiple people who use certain accounts, because they literally post 24 hours a day. And, you know, it's just like that should show you that there's obviously people out there who are motivated to destroy this work and create all these negative. It's like politics in a way. You know, I'm not a politician, but there's people trying to destroy me as if I am a politician. So it is old and draining, and all I can say is just ignore the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Just gloss right over it.
Yeah, that's true. And someone want to talk about one of my friends, he showed me talking about Stevie Wonder, supposedly about him not really being blind. There was an instance of him at a convention show or whatever, and it was Paul McCartney and a couple other people were there, and a microphone had fell over. Someone bumped into the microphone, and it fell over, and he gradually catches it. And I thought that was kind of creepy. And in the next instance, it shows what's the guy's name? His close friend, Anthony Anderson, on the Colbert Late Night Show, talking about Stevie Wonder needed help walking to the piano on stage, or find the piano on stage. And he was like, "Well, Stevie, if you needed help to get to the piano, why don't you just walk over there?" And he just walks over there without having any troubles. And in the next instance was this guy talking about how Stevie Wonder was sitting courtside at an NBA game, and that really had my eye jump up. So it's like, why would a guy supposedly blind have courtside seats to an NBA game? That doesn't make any sense. And supposedly the video of Stevie Wonder at the NBA courtside game was taken off of YouTube and deleted.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've actually seen that video of where the mic gets knocked over and he catches it. And I don't know if Stevie Wonder's really blind or if it's just all part of the show. But what I could say about blind people who lose a certain sense, you know, all their other senses get heightened. So it's possible, you know, like he could have heard the microphone get knocked over, and, you know, he just has the sense of where it's fallen, so he grabbed it. You know, there's some blind people that are really impressive, but you know, again, the mainstream is full of lies and deception, and is Stevie Wonder being blind just another, you know, some sort of attraction, the allure of Stevie Wonder just to get more attention? I don't know. It's entirely possible. But yeah, being courtside is kind of interesting. I guess if you think about it, though, if you're courtside, you can really hear the game. So, you know, that would be the one advantage of being closer to the players. But yeah, no, I've seen that video, and it is interesting. I've wondered myself. So, caller?
Yeah, true.
Oh, okay.
No.
Thought you were gone.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
So,
one more thing for all these deaths that come with like hanging and hang. The word hanging has the same gematria of the N word for the 42, 30, and 60 coding.
Right, and the N word and slavery and hanging all have that major overlap. Mm-hmm. Yes, they
And
do.
also, yeah, today, Mike Pence came to North Carolina for the upcoming 2020 Republican convention that's going to be in Raleigh. Starting August 24th to the 27th.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, 24th to the 27th. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. All right, friend.
Yeah, I know people want to get talking on the radio, but it's good to hear from you, and good that you're back on the show with every Wednesday.
Yeah, always appreciate you calling in and sharing with us. And yeah, your friends, what you're going through, it's, you know, what my friends did to me, and a lot of us, I mean, we've all gone through the same experience, and it's too bad it's that way, but it is. It's just so weird how this subject, just so many people are just so opposed to it right from the get. They don't give it a single thought. It's like it's programmed within them to just have this allergic reaction to it, which is so strange. But it is what it is.
And I even gave him a thorough. I even gave him like a thorough explanation of how like other shooting hoaxes were like, you know, didn't seem like for example with the Sandy Hook and how it was closed down because of the hurricane, and like the Boston bombing marathon and the Antioch shooting. And I was trying to tell him about how the dude could have been a patsy and other things too. So yeah, but I'll let you go now.
Okay. Hey, just in case you missed my video on that UNCC shooting, it was on the 120th day of the year, and the story came from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police, which equals 120. So, you know, I mean, it looked like another ritual carried out by the police department. And there's a few other things in there too, but the story came from the Mecklenburg Police on the most perfect day of the year. Appreciate it, friend. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, take care. All right, let's see. We got 4 minutes till the break. Let's go out to Tulsa.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
Just sitting here in Tornadoville.
Okay. Yeah. How you doing, man? Did you survive the storm?
Well, a tree fell on my apartment. If you've seen that on Facebook by chance.
Did it hit your actual unit or your complex?
On my unit, but it was a large tree. You can see the picture. It's a huge root that came out of the ground.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't really from a tornado. It's from high winds, and people think rain because the soil was soft, so the weight of the tree.
Yeah.
You can just look at my Facebook later, and you'll see a picture of it. But yeah, we're doing okay. It's a lot of flash flooding and stuff, but it's kind of intimidating, man. One of my topics, well, I have a few little topics. I'll make it quick because I get to talk to you a lot. Other people need to talk to you. What about, why Oklahoma? Why do they have, because, I'm new here, so why do they have so many tornadoes in Oklahoma? I mean, maybe we could look at the Oklahoma history of the tornadoes, like the one in, Joplin's near Oklahoma. Joplin, Missouri, destroyed that town. You got Moore, Oklahoma. That was like, I think 3 or 4 years ago, destroyed the whole town. So if they're doing this weather warfare, maybe we can look at the history of some of the other big tornadoes that Oklahoma's had and maybe find some answers.
Sure. As for the answer why, I can only speculate. It seems to me that they have influence over the weather, but they're still natural weather systems. And I think that area of the country is still more prone to tornadoes. I think it's just easier for them to enhance the storms, just based on the natural weather systems that are there.
As you were answering it, it clicked in my head too. Yeah, that's very logical. Yeah. Let's see. I wrote a couple things down here. There's been a lot of great callers, as everyone's noticed, and I wonder why some of these people aren't admins on Daily Dose. I've asked people. You have 70, 80,000 fans, and I just think, why wouldn't you inbox me on Daily Dose of Gematria and be a leader? help be a leader, help promote this work. You know, I love the Arizona caller. I hope he's still listening. I loved his enthusiasm.
Sure.
You know, the New York caller could make a fake dummy account. He said he would a long time ago, but I haven't talked to him. There's a question I had. Can we get his first name?
Well, I'd have to ask him. I don't want to put out his information.
Well, maybe he would offer it. I'm just saying, like if Dave from New York, you know, or something.
Sure.
I at least want to call him by his first name.
Sure. Well, part of the thing is, Rich, a lot of people hate Facebook. They don't want to use Facebook. So, I mean, that's part of the problem.
Well, I've heard this, but let's think about this. Out of 70,000 fans that you have, or whatever it is, I mean, I bet 90% of them have a Facebook. So my point is, it's not just the callers that's called in, but I think all of them could be great leaders.
Sure.
Every person that's called in,
Rich,
could be an admin, you know.
Sit tight because we're going to commercial. We'll hold you over the break. We'll be right back, everybody. We've got an hour left. All right. Apologies again for eating on camera. I'm slowly making it through my dinner on the commercial break. If you ever have Lepetto, you definitely want to eat it when it's fresh because the dressing on it, you know, it makes everything a little bit soggier with time, so it's not quite as good, but it's still good. And if you're wondering what I'm eating, that's Lepetto, the Burmese traditional food. Very delicious, very healthy. So again, during the commercial breaks, for people listening on the phone, I know this drives you nuts because you hear the commercial and my voice, but I'm interacting with the chat on YouTube. Somebody called it Burmese coleslaw, sort of funny. But interacting with the live stream chat on YouTube. So I heard we were the Fermenti. Everybody get in touch with Fermenti. He has great fermented food products. Yes, the what's fermented in it is the tea leaves. In Lepetto, there's fermented tea leaves. So let me see if I can get one. Let's see. It's got some quinoa stuck to it too, but if you can make that out, that's a fermented tea leaf. When will I get into the Bitcoin? You know, the conference I'm going to in September is primarily a Bitcoin conference. So I'm going to be one of the few people there speaking that's not talking about Bitcoin. And at the moment, you know, might sound a bit hypocritical since I have a good revenue stream on Patreon, but I mean, ultimately what I want to do, my vision and my goal is to figure out how to get completely financially independent, you know, have a solar energy, my own farm, you know, live in a community of people who care about truth and local agriculture and doing what's right. And so I'm not thinking about Bitcoin and alternate currencies. And ultimately, I just like to get entirely away from money. That is the goal. For the time being, though, I'm trying to raise revenue so that we can build up a Gematria news network. And so anyway, you know, my thought's not really on the financial world. It's about, you know, getting to the next phase, a better phase. But when I'm at this conference, I'm sure I'll learn a whole lot about Bitcoin. So I think we're coming back from the commercial break right now.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question 3.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour left. This is the Gematria Effect. We're streaming on YouTube Live. We're also live on TFRlive.com. For the rest of the show, we're taking your calls. We got Rich, who is the man who built the page Daily Dose of Gematria on Facebook. He's every day looking for more people to be administrators and help promote the page. His whole goal is just to get more people to learn about this knowledge that we talk about here every Wednesday night. So let me get Rich back on. He's making his plea. Rich, are you there?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap up the point. Not just the callers that's called in could be great leaders, but just anybody out there. And when people say, "Oh, I don't have Facebook," or "I don't have time," well, sometimes I don't have time either. That's why I have a team. And what we do is not hard. It's not time consuming. And we only get better as we grow. And I've watched us grow the whole time. And we always have new ideas. And we have easy tactics to reach out to people. So not having time, I have that covered for you. And not having a Facebook, you can make a Facebook that says you're Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter, because when you post and advertise, you are advertising as Daily Dose of Gematria. So your real name ain't out there. You don't have a friend. You don't need a friends list. So I just can't hear that I don't have a Facebook, because you can just make a dummy account. And what's more important, not having a Facebook or getting 1 million people standing in Washington, D.C.? And we have, and my whole goal, you mentioned my goal to get more people. Well, my main goal is because I made the page, because when you made the video called Solution to Federal Tyranny, and I've told you that before, and that's what made me think of something to do to contribute, and I made the page, and I'm not stopping until everybody knows Zach Hubbard's work, and I'm not stopping until we're standing in the White House lawn. So that's my goal, and we can only do that with growth. And when I have admins who I take the 15 seconds to teach you how to advertise this work, when we just grow and grow and grow and grow. I mean, I don't got to explain math to them, but this has to be done. And that's all on that. So I'll take any admins. We have fun. It's not hard. And you can just do it a couple days a week. It takes a half hour a day. So, you said bring signs and stuff like that to the Philadelphia trip. I'm bringing the Gematria business cards, and I'll buy a few cases. I think the picnic sounds great. The meeting each other, of course, that is great. I'm looking forward to beating the streets of Philly. If we can wake up one entire city all at once, well, what could happen after that? What could happen is these people that do this stuff to us every day, pretty soon they're going to have to answer to us, because you have all their riddles. You have the answers to all their riddles. So that's my goal. And I don't know how that ticket's $350, man. I can go to a rock concert for cheaper than that.
Right. There's a lot of the exact.
You might have. I think I covered my list.
Okay, I appreciate it, Rich. But yeah, you're right. That ticket price is high. Well, appreciate everything you do, friend. And we had on, for people who don't know, this is Rich. The woman we had on at the beginning of the show, Ashley. She's someone who picked up Rich's business cards, and for picking up the cards, that's the promo that we're doing. You get the cards to help spread the word. You get to come on and tell your story at the beginning of the show. So thanks again, Rich.
Yeah, and let them know, Zach. After your book, you mentioned that we might have them come on your videos, where they can come on while you're doing a video. You remember that?
Right. That once I get the daily podcast going,
by voice, not by voice, but video.
Right. Once I get the daily podcast, we can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're doing a baseball decode or whatever, and then hey, I got my guest on, and they come on live and talk to you for 6-7 minutes, and it's like that'd be cool, and I think that's incentive, Plus they join Gematria Chat and help us grow. As our number gets bigger, that's the more impact. I mean, that's as simple as I can get. And the page is built not for people's entertainment, but to make an impact and help us grow. That's all I ask.
Right on.
I hope I get at least 10 inboxes. I'll get off here, but let me get 10 inboxes tonight that says, hey, how can I be an admin? And we'll show you.
All right, that's the goal. 10 new applications for an admin, and anybody can do it. Daily dose of Gematria. Just send a message to Rich and say, hey, I want to help support this page and spread the word. All right, thank you, Rich.
Absolutely. No applications needed. You're hired.
Right.
Have a good night, brother.
All right, have a good night, man. And, Rich who's on the phone, I just got to share something personal. From the time I was gone, something funny happened in my own life. When I stopped by my mom's house, I noticed it was the dirtiest I'd ever seen it. And my mom's house wasn't dirty. You have to understand, my mom just cleans for a living, and she lives to clean, and she keeps everything spotless. And I mean, the house was still very clean. If you went in her house, there's no way you'd think it was dirty. But just based on how clean she keeps it, I noticed it wasn't as clean. Like, I opened up the microwave, and normally it looks like no one's ever used her microwave before. It's just spotless, like everything in the house. But I noticed there was like food splatter on the side, which is typical for most people's microwaves. And I was like, my mom's not keeping her microwave clean? And I just noticed a few other things. And then I also noticed that my mom just seemed kind of a little bit more silly. She was telling me how she's watching this show called Ertugrul or something on Netflix. And she was talking about how he's a great sword fighter, and she was dancing around and doing like this sword motion with her arm. And I was like, what is going on? It's like my mom's a new person. Her house isn't as clean. She's a little bit more playful. She's a little bit more laid back. And then I found out what was going on. My mom is now eating these weed candies. So, my mom's never used weed or anything, but she's got these weed edible candies, and they just have her on a whole new level, which is kind of funny to me. And I appreciate it. I think it's a good look for her. So if anybody's out there that's like maybe a little bit too stressed out all the time, a little bit too uptight, just needs to chill out a little bit, maybe some of these weed candies they're selling at the dispensary might be right for you. But I just had to share that story. Rich right there, who was just calling us, he's pretty partial with the marijuana, so made me think of that. Let's go out to Medford, Oregon. How are you, Medford? Caller?
Hey, Zach,
Hey.
what is 47?
Yeah, yes, it is. One of my favorite callers. How are you today?
I believe I'm the only truth seeker of the month so far.
This is true. This is true.
Got a couple observations. One, there's been a couple crashes up in my hometown of Ketchikan, Alaska. A couple float planes. One collided with another float plane at 3,300 feet. And the name of the aircraft company is Taquan, Taquan, which I believe is 19. So you have 19 and a 33 in the story.
Huh.
Kind of suspicious.
Right.
Another aircraft in their fleet went down again yesterday. So we had 2 crashes in a few days and multiple dead. I don't know whether they had a hit on somebody or not. And it kind of reminded me of back in the Bill Clinton days of Ron Brown. Remember him?
Uh-huh.
Taken out in a jet. They killed multiple people just to get him.
Right.
So maybe they arranged these aircraft accidents to take out a certain person from Canada, or a certain person maybe had information that could have been detrimental to the cruise or
Sure.
the cause. These were cruise passengers.
Right.
Ketchikan is a cruise ship destination in Southeast. You may be familiar with it.
Right.
Well, it might be a story you want to look into.
Okay.
Second part of my call would be church. I got to looking at that word, CH, URCH. When I look at CH, I think of 38, which is death, and I also see 11. 3 and 8 equals 11, and so that would represent a couple pillars, kind of like the Freemason pillars. And the UR in the middle is 39. So you got pillars surrounding Freemasonry, which is what your church is. Did you follow that?
Yeah. No, I'm following you totally. Yeah.
So you're surrounding yourself in death when you go to church, because it's run by Freemasonry. Every damn one of them. Every damn one of them. They wrote the book, remember?
Sure. And most ministers are part of the York Rite of Freemasonry. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to a Calvary Chapel at 33. And Calvary Chapel was run by a fellow named Chuck Smith, who predicted the apocalypse and rapture several times, and he finally died, accepting that rapture wasn't coming in his day. He's a rather corrupt individual. He's got an offshoot out there called Greg Laurie that you covered not too long ago. Remember him?
Right. Right.
Well, he came out of the Calvary Chapel system. So he's got a lot written on him. There's a bigger scandal going in another church called Harvest Bible Chapel back in Chicago. There's a pastor, megachurch pastor, who used to get 20,000 people every weekend. His name was James McDonald. Just came out he's been going through a lot of disclosures lately. He just came out this weekend that he had solicited somebody to kill his son-in-law. I mean, this is a pastor of a megachurch soliciting murder. And he solicited this murder through a fellow named Mueller Mancow, who's a shock jock back in Chicago.
Huh.
So Harvest Bible Chapel. There's other churches back in Chicago. There's named another megachurch pastor named Bill Heifels, run out of town on rail basically, and it's just a mess back in Chicago. When you look at the depths of dirt, look at Chicago first.
Sure.
I mean, that's where the real filth comes from.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to look into that Ketchikan crash, you might find something there.
And what was the date of that crash?
Just this week.
Okay.
This week. There's been two crashes in this week, and there were 6 dead in the first crash, and they collided with another plane at 3,300 feet.
Okay. Yeah,
I used to watch these planes come in all the time. I was a nephew of like 3, 4 different of my uncles owned these float planes, so I would be able to crawl into the seat and take a ride now and then out to all these different places. And there was always crashes. I mean, Alaska and float planes, you just think crash. It's just the way it is. They've gotten better, but I think this one was deliberate. They had somebody in mind, somebody rich, like that helicopter crash over in England that took out the soccer team.
Sure.
It might be something like that.
Okay. I'll look into it. Yep. Good heads up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just really suspicious that it would get this much play on the news.
Right.
And when they emphasize something, you got to think it's dirty.
Right.
Because it wouldn't make national news any other way. It's dirty. I can feel it in my bones. It's dirty. So good luck. I give a big shout out to everybody that's listening. You got a lot of courage just to listen to this.
Appreciate it, friend. Appreciate it. And I will look into those stories, and I'll at least put something on my blog. So thank you for the heads up, and hope you're doing well.
Yeah. What is 47?
And thanks for also putting that on your truck. This is the man who put it on the back of his truck so everyone can see it. What is 47?
Yeah, people are just blind, man. It's just blind. It's willful blindness. It's just like that scene in the movie They Live, where they're fighting. Roddy and the other guy, they're just fighting to the death.
Right.
This guy just doesn't want to see the truth.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is. So.
Yep. Well, have a good one out there.
All right, friend. You have a good night. You take care. And when I think of plane crashes, I always think of Paul Wellstone. Paul Wellstone, the senator from Wisconsin who died by the numbers in a plane crash. Used to have a video on his death on my old channel. I'm pretty sure his death's in my book. And, you know, he was one of the only outspoken critics of, you know, the rush to war after September 11th. And he died October 25th, 2002 in a plane crash. In a story that didn't make any sense, where they falsified what the weather was when it crashed. So there was the severe weather. There was no such thing. Let's go out to caller. Columbia? Yeah, you're on.
I'm outside smoking a Flatbush cigarette right now, so you caught me off guard.
Oh, you want me to come back?
Yeah, with that. No. It's a Flatbush cigarette, not a regular cigarette.
Okay.
But with that guy said earlier about his friends and sports, like you just gotta get better with this, bro. Like I didn't start telling people about the G word. That's what I call it. That's what me and my friends call it out here. The G word since like 500 days since I knew about it. Like the 500 days of refreshing. Well, I just say Free to Find Truth as my homepage, so I see it every morning. But, you know, just refresh it every day for a year, and then you'll learn. Like look at today with the Jacob DeGrom ritual. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But, I mean, you can talk about sports to anything. You don't have to talk about shooting. Like, don't bring up shootings, especially when you're right next to the place. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was a girl who died from an Uber driver, a black Impala, a little white girl who we never seen around here, and it was a story by the numbers, but I didn't tell anybody because I knew people out here would be like, "Oh, you're crazy," but I just did it myself. Black Impala, Uber, boom, her name. Looked up her Facebook page. Looked like a CIA agent Facebook page, honestly.
Right. Right.
But you can't deal with the local stuff, man. You're gonna look crazy, man. You're gonna look crazy out here. Do the easiest stuff, the rig sports. They want to talk about sports, talk about NFL season 97. So all you gotta do is talk about one number, 25.
Right.
The 97 season, 25th prime number. They switched the kickoff to 25 yards. They came back by 25 on 2/5.
Right.
I mean, if they don't believe you after that, they're retarded. They're loyal. You just don't even talk to them.
Right. Yeah.
Period. And there's so many examples. Like, people shouldn't, like me, when I come around, I'll be in the hood, I'll be here, politics here. They're like, oh, tell me about this. Oh, you seen this? Oh, Nipsey died? Yup, he died 137 days from his birthday. He was 33. I didn't even have to tell him anymore. They was like, damn. Because it's there. Like, once you know this stuff and you read that book, I've been reading the second edition lately. It's there. It's there. All you have to do is just make sure you say it right. Make sure you got it right. Because if you don't have it, how can you explain it to somebody else?
Right.
I'm not good at calculus. I can't tell you about calculus.
Right. Yeah, you're making a lot of great points. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not down to you, because I was in their same position. I was talking. I didn't know. But you just gotta, once you know. But what Richard was saying about the Facebook, like, dude, I'm 25. Nobody my age is on Facebook. Everybody's on Instagram. You gotta get an Instagram, bro. You're not gonna get anybody to come to an app that they hate. Like, you gotta put in work. You have Facebook. You can't just make a Facebook account, because you gotta add friends. Nobody wants to do that, bro. Just make an Instagram. I'll follow you. I got 3 Instagram pages. You get 3 followers tonight, you make an Instagram.
Okay.
But yeah, with Facebook, nobody, dude, I'm 25. Nobody, you tell somebody to make a Facebook, they're gonna laugh. It's a joke. It's like, Facebook is like MySpace now.
Sure.
You know what MySpace is?
Well, of course I do. MySpace was popular before Facebook was out. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now it's Instagram. Instagram is it now. You're not on Instagram, you're not on anything. You don't know what's going on, and you're not on Instagram.
Right.
You can go on Instagram and follow 5 pages, and you can see everything. I follow CNN, I see all the rigged sports stats, I see everything. It's just right there on there. But yeah, Rich, if you're listening, Instagram, man. The Facebook, I know you're a little older, you know, people are not on there, dude. Period. I'm not saying it just for me. People aren't on there. Nobody is. My mom is on Facebook. You want her to follow you? That's what I'm saying. Like, my mom's not going to stop and end tyranny. But you know, Zach, what I told you 3 years ago, you probably don't remember. You want to end this tyranny? It's not going to be with these 50-year-old white people, man. You have to go down to the hood, make sure you don't have anything valuable on you, and you got to talk to these young kids. Go to South Central, go to 61st Street, go tell them what really happened. Because those are the people who's gonna fight. Like, period.
Well, I know you're right about that too, man. I know you're right about that. So,
you know what I'm saying? Zachary K. Hubbard Hood Tour 2020 coming soon.
Yeah, that is what I need to do. You're right about that. You're absolutely right, man.
The New York caller, what he's gonna say? He's gonna say, "No, man, we should do it nonviolence." Because, man, these people been, you know what I'm saying? They've been tolerating this tyranny for years, bro. I'm 25. I don't like it. I'm tired. I don't want to work anymore. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of my mom working. I'm tired of my mom getting paid. This. We just gotta end it, man. Just gotta stand up. Get the people from the hood. Get the felons. Get the dudes who got tattoos on their face, who can't get a job, who can't do anything but commit crimes in the streets. Those are the guys we need. The big ones, the strong, muscular ones who've been in prison 5 years, came home still selling crack. Those are the guys we need. Not the 50-year-old.
Well, really, we need everybody, but you're right. We still need everybody. I mean, I wouldn't want to exclude anybody who's willing to stand up is who we need, but you're right. The most motivated people are going to be the people who are most disenfranchised by this system we live in. So you're 100% correct about that.
I mean, it's like, we can keep doing this every year, Zach. I can keep calling you, keep doing it. I know we talk about sports and shit, but honestly, I hate it. I hate that you do sports every day. I honestly don't even like the sports. I like when you did like more occult, deep, dark, stuff. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get the sheep or whatever they can get. So, but I mean, anybody out there, if your friends are laughing at you, it's because you don't know what you're doing. You sounding crazy when you're talking. Because I can make it sound good, and they believe me. So nobody say, "Oh, he's crazy." Nothing. Everything is Oh yeah. But talk to him. No, he knows about it. Yeah, just talk to him. And that's what it is. I appreciate the time, Zach.
All right, man. I appreciate your call. You have a good night, friend.
All right.
Take care. And we only got 30 seconds till the commercial break. There's only 4 people on hold right now, so stay on hold if you're on hold. I'm definitely getting to you after the commercial break. We got Baltimore, Carson City, Rochester, San Diego. All 4 of you are getting on after the break. I'll do it after that so you don't get cut off. But what he was just saying about how I'm doing the sports every day, there's a part of me that feels really guilty about that I'm spending so much time on sports, because that's obviously not what's important in the world in the scheme of things right now. But the thing is, that's where people are supporting the work financially. And again, this isn't supposed to be about money, but I've been here spinning the wheels for over 5 years, and I can't get to the next phase because I don't have the resources. And now, right now, there's a generous revenue stream coming in because I'm putting so much time into sports. That resource, when it gets built to a big enough pool, the point is to get a spot and hire people and create a team and make things happen. So that's the goal. That's the mission right now. But time is running out. We'll be right back, Truth Seeker. Sit tight. Okay, we're back. Somebody has a really interesting stat in the chat about how the only team to win the NFL, MLB, and NHL in history was Detroit in 1935. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Because this streak with Boston started in 2018, which would have been 83 years later, the big football number. And Detroit, Michigan equals 83, and Detroit's on the 83rd meridian. So 83 years later, the streak starts with the Boston teams in 2018. So there's definitely something going on with that. That's a really great observation. I didn't know that. I like Meg Bitter Truth. Sometimes he's hard to understand, but I like him. I like him. He's authentic. I don't agree with everything he says, but I mean, who agrees with everyone? You know, for the person calling in right now, I can't answer that line right now. If you're trying to call into the show, the numbers, you got to call the TFR line right now, not the Gematria hotline. If you're trying to call the show, the number's 213-233-3998. The question about the rapper, I don't know if you say his name is Tyga or Tiga. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I don't have the answer to that question. I'd have to look into it. So. Yeah, you know, the whole transgender thing, I know a lot of people, you know, say that like nearly every person's transgender, and we live in a crazy world. I mean, if it's true, I guess it wouldn't shock me, but I stay away from the whole transgender accusation thing because I can't prove it, you know. And there are some women who don't have the most curvy body, you know, they don't have the most curvy hips. So sometimes I feel like by saying, you know, oh, well, that person's clearly not a woman because they don't have the hourglass figure, I know that would be insulting to women who are really women, who were born women, who, you know, they don't have those features. So there's definitely a transgender thing going on, no doubt about it, but I just don't want to accuse people of being transgender if I don't have any proof or evidence. So, okay, we're coming back from the break here. All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. My fault. Came back faster than I was expecting. Baltimore, Maryland. That's who was up next. How are you, Baltimore? Hey.
It's been a while.
Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to know, like I understand if you don't want to tell me, but who you got now since, you know, the Boston Celtics, you know, ain't going to the finals?
What's that?
Well, remember you said you thought it was going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Warriors, so I just wanted to know who you thought was going to be now in the Eastern Conference now since the, you know, Celtics eliminated.
Okay, so I've had the Warriors all year. I didn't think before the season began they would face the Celtics. Here's a clue. Go see who the Warriors once played in 1973 in the playoffs in light of this being the 73rd NBA season. So
Okay.
You'll be able to figure it out.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all that.
All right, man. You have a good night. Yeah, my it's a tricky riddle for the Eastern Conference, but what I just said, to me, that's pretty interesting. So let's go out to Nevada.
Are you there, Zach?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Hey, first time caller, short time listener, 61 in Carson City. And you're growing out here. We're going to buy a 20 pack of books, distribute them around, and everything you say makes sense.
Well, thank you.
I personally don't watch TV, but I listen to you every podcast, every YouTube video. I don't do the Patreon thing, but we are supporting you, and you'll be sending out boxes of books.
Very
and
cool.
I'll be passing them around.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and let you know that people out here are waking up, even at the 50 and above group. So it's not just the guys in the hood, although I support those guys, and it's a growing movement.
Thank you, and I'm glad you said that. It was the perfect follow-up call because he's a younger person. He's speaking from his environment. I hear what he's saying, but really, we need everybody. We need everybody who's willing to step up to step up.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And it's friend to friend. And when you show the proof, people listen.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all of your efforts and all your work. And I personally will support you, and those that are around me will also.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. And it's great to hear your voice too. I always love when people call in for the first time. So it means a lot.
All right. Well, keep up the good work, brother.
All right, will do. You have a good evening.
All right.
All right, take care.
Enjoy.
All right, let's go out to Rochester, New York.
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
I just want to say how much I appreciate your work and the work you do. You opened me up to the language of numbers and letters, and I actually went on your website and just started looking at my own stuff and just the daily stuff that happens and stuff. So, quick little story. My little sister, she called me a couple of weeks ago. She said that a local guy got murdered who was involved in a situation a few years ago where supposedly Three kids got murdered outside of a rec center. It was like a drive-by shooting. And she told me, she was like, he got murdered the night before one of the guys who got killed, birthday. So I told her, I was like, wow, like, hopefully this has nothing to do with Gematria because they love birthdays. But Zach says they love birthdays. So I didn't really think nothing of it. I'm like, it doesn't really, like, this is local. Like, this stuff may happen worldwide and, with politics and stuff and sports, but like really something like in my city, like this close. So I'm like, hey, you never know. So next morning I looked into it and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find nothing at all. I was on your calculator, put in a bunch of keywords, following his story. I couldn't find anything. So I called her and I was like, it doesn't seem like it's Gematria. Like, this is just a crazy story. Like, wow. So I thought and I said, okay, so the situation in 2015, 3 people got arrested. They were supposedly in a car doing a drive-by that killed 3 people. One of the guys got life. The other 2 got acquitted of murder. And one of the guy's friend, they said they were supposedly friends. I remember, got stabbed earlier this year. So I'm like, they had it in the news. One of the guys who got acquitted of murder, he got stabbed at this address, whatever. And it's not too far from my house. So I'm like, wow, like, let me see the span of days, right? So I looked it up, researched the article, and I saw the number 83. And I'm like, wow, okay. I remember seeing this number somewhere else. So I went back through the codes and stuff, and I'm like, wow, I remember seeing this number. So you know what I did? I typed in acquitted of murder, and that was equal to 83. I typed in triple homicide, that was 83. And I typed in Shamrock's Irish Pub, that was the bar the guy got stabbed at. And that was equal to 83. So I'm like, wow, the number here is 83. So it gets deeper. So the next few days, I couldn't really find anything. And I'm like, there's something more to this story. So now, the guy, he was a young guy. He was only 24. He was an entertainer. He was like a rapper locally. Everybody knew the guy. Like, everybody knew him. He was making a name for himself. And that was the part of the reason why I was sad, because I'm like, damn, I thought he was really going to go somewhere. So, and he made it through all this trouble. Like, he got acquitted of murder. Like, the original jury found him guilty, but it was supposedly like jury misconduct. They redid the trial and he got acquitted. And I'm like, wow, like, he went through all of this and he was, going to make it in this music. He got all his stuff together and I had to murder him. So I looked deeper and then I saw the number 200 pop up a lot. So he got his co-defendant, who also got acquitted of murder. The address was 200 Park Point Drive, and it was supposedly in a 200-person brawl. So the guy who got murdered at 83 days later, he supposedly got shot in a 200 block of McGee Avenue. And I'm like, another number is 200. So I dug deep with those 2 numbers, and it turns out that guy, he went by a rap name. Whoever's listening, you guys can all like look it up. His name was LaFleur 2X, right? And he always chanted 2 times throughout all his music. It was 2 times, 2X. His shirts he was promoting had the 2 X's on them. His last album, which was released the night he died, May 4th, was released that same night. It had 2 X's on it. And I'm like, there's something with these X's. So I was digging deep. One day I was just home from work. I'm going to study this for like 10 hours straight. So I realized that the 2X, the X was actually used as a variable. It was never used as 2 times. So the real number that was hidden was 22. So remember the number 83, 8 plus 3 equals 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then the other number 200, 2 plus 0 plus 0 equals 2. So I'm like, wow, the number is 22. So he came out with an album, and it gets deep because like I saw Gematria before he even was accused of this triple homicide. He had a son that was born March 24th, 2015. And that was the 83rd day that year. And the year it didn't fall on, the 83rd day was 2016 when he was in jail because he spent like a year and a half in jail. He got released. His son's birthday passed. Then on his 3rd birthday, he posted a picture to Facebook. He was like, I want to wish my son a happy big 3. Happy birthday, son. I love you to the moon and back. And I looked into that post, and actually it was from a triple homicide shooting that happened August 19, 2015. His son's 3rd birthday was a span of 83 weeks. And he emphasized the number 3, which was, like I said, the triple homicide where 3 people got killed. And also, like it's like super like creepy and deep because he even 3 we know is the 2nd prime number. So 3 is the 2nd prime, and then his son's birthday fell on the 83rd day for the 2nd year in a row because it didn't fall in 2016, it fell in 2017 and 2018. 2018 is when his son turned 3. So that's where the number 22 came out again. He came out with an album, Everything I Do 2X, which I read as Everything I Do 22. And I looked into that, and all his music went by the number 22. The album he came out with had 22 songs. He released that album 22 weeks before he dropped his next album, which was 22 weeks before his birthday anniversary, May 4th, 2020. And on his last album, the album he came out when he died, he holding up two fingers with 2 X's. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that even like the street he got shot on equal 22. McGee, not McGee Avenue, just McGee equal 22. The gang he was supposedly from, BMG equals 22. Like, it's just deep, and I didn't know I was gonna find this deep. So I know you mentioned like some people are born and bred into this stuff. So that's what I was thinking, like, was he like born and bred into this? Because it seems to go back like very deep, and like I don't know if he just sort of like worked a deal with this organization or was working with them or something, because it just seems like really like hard to do, like by the numbers, when it's like you're working with somebody consistently over the years. So I'm just thinking, like, was he like one of them, where he just like was like some sort of MK Ultra, like in the environment, where he just like sacrificed himself? Because like a lot of people showed up to his funeral, like thousands of people. And like I told my mom, I told my sister, I'm like, I tell y'all this stuff, but don't say nothing to his mom, his girlfriend, or nothing, because they may know this code. And I haven't like told anyone other than my sister and my mom.
Sure.
It goes deep into like his post. Like he posted a post to Facebook August 13th, 2018, where he was just saying everything about his case. He got charged with 22 counts of criminal activity with the case. He also posted that post 200 days after the anniversary.
Huh.
So it's like, I was just looking at the post. I'm like, did he even write this post? Like, and his music wasn't even all that good. Like, I noticed he had like a lot of money, like usually in his pictures and like the clothes he was wearing, he had a lot of money. And I'm like, did he like sign his life away? And like, he didn't know the consequences. But at the same time, like the number 83 came up before the whole incident. So I'm like, was he born and bred into this? Like, how did you have your son on the 83rd day?
Sure. That's what's interesting. So if they're being told to procreate, I mean, you can do C-section to make it all happen, but that's interesting how that number seemed to define his career. And of course, the song Murder by Numbers came out in the year 83. Murder equals 83. So you did awesome research, man. That's very good. Did you post any of this anywhere online, or are you just kind of keeping notes somewhere?
You said what?
Are you posting this research anywhere, or are you just keeping your own private notes?
Oh, good. Yeah, good question. Because I got like, I thought about, because I really want to share this to the people to wake people up, because so many people are affected by his death, and they just think like some random guy. I know you talk about agendas a lot, propaganda. It seems like it's an agenda of like black on black crime, like, somebody retaliated him against this shooting here that happened years ago. Like, I just want to wake a lot of people up and just like, share what I found out. But I kind of been like organizing some things together, but I've been thinking like long term, like, okay, I want to encrypt, like wherever I posted from, the page I posted from, because I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how it could come back to me, and I just want to make sure, like, it has no chance of getting back to me. So I was even going to ask you, I know you put your face online and your real voice, and I don't know if you use like a private network and stuff, but like, I definitely thought about like sharing it, but doing it in a lot more encrypted, where it's like it somehow doesn't come back to me.
Sure, I see what you're saying, and I don't blame you for taking precautions, because I've definitely dealt with some consequences for doing this. And it's like right now on Patreon, I have somebody spamming my address everywhere because they figured out my address, one of the trolls on there. But I do some research on that. But yeah, I can tell that you're awesome at this research. So you should figure out a way to do it privately and know that you're safe and secure. But yeah, you got the mind for this. That was a really brilliant decode you just did. So please call us again and keep us posted if you do figure out a way to get it up online safe, and so you feel secure about it, and where we can find your research, because I can tell you know how to do it. So
yeah, I just want to say thank you a lot too for, you taught me all this. And like you said, it's really easy. Like you read the news articles and like they put the words in your face, they will repeat them.
Right. Right.
You just echo it.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your call. It was nice to hear from you. I think you were a first-time caller. Is this your first time calling in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, great first call. So I hope we hear from you again and figure out a way to do that safely so we can get your work out there, because it's very good. So, all right, man, you have a good night.
Yeah. All right, you too.
All right, take care. And I want to send an apology to San Diego. You were up next. I said I was going to get to you. Maybe I took too long, but wanted to let that gentleman go on because he had a great decode for us. Something must be in the water in New York with these excellent decodes. Let's go out to Vermont.
Hello, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. To have a organic tale to tell. On May 9th, I was a substitute teacher. And teacher 33 is on a day with 33 numerology. 5, 9, and 19 is 33.
Right.
I was born on a day with 66 numerology as well. 33 equals 66. 33 also equals 156.
For people who are new, they're like, wait, what? How's 33 equal 60? Wait, if you write out 33 as a word, it sums to 66. I follow you.
Right. Substitute equals 156. Teacher also equals 129. And I was born with 129 numerology. And I happened to sub on a day on the 129th day of the year. But that was pretty interesting.
That is crazy.
Teacher's also 39, and I was born with 39 numerology as well. Born to be a teacher. I don't know. I was a job coach. Job coach equals my name, 57. The guy I was in with, his name is Chris, equals 57, also equals 33. getting back to 33. His last name is Grover. That equals 33 as well. His last name, his first and last name equals 132. That's 33 times 4. It also happened 132 days from my birthday.
Huh. Wild.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wild.
I was like, was I born to be a teacher? Like, that was what I was struggling with afterwards. I was like, wow, the numbers really, on the 129th day.
Right.
What do you make of that?
Again, it's like, man, the organic side of this code is just such a trip. And it's like we do live in the matrix. How did you end up substituting? How did that happen?
It's just one of those jobs. If you have a college education out here in Vermont, you can sub, and it's great. And well, it's not much money, but at least it gives you some money and gives you some teaching experience.
So that was the first time you ever did it on the most perfect day?
No, that wasn't the first time.
Oh,
that was the day where I decoded. I hadn't really decoded anything up until then.
I see. Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Like, wow, what a time to decode.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But keep doing the good work that you're doing, and very inspiring. I was wondering if you could look into Amy Goodman.
Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Goodman equals 33. So.
Yeah, right?
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
She's got a loyal following. If they could be, swayed, that would be great. God.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll look into that. I always think Democracy Now! Should have me on. I actually wrote them years ago, and then I didn't get a response. I wanted to go on there and share this research, but I think they're controlled. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're the Ford Foundation.
What's his face?
Too. She said before she was like raising money. They're like, the Democracy Now! Only gets money from people like you, its listeners. Like, no, that's not true, actually.
Right. George Soros.
Other foundations.
George Soros provides a lot of the funding for Democracy Now!
Oh yeah, that's right, George Soros too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, man.
That'd be cool if you could look at that.
I will. I'll do that.
All right. Thanks.
All right. You have a good night. Take care.
Okay, bye.
All right. Fort Lauderdale. You're up.
Hi. I wanted to know if you could look up Radio Maria, which is Polish, and the pastor. Sorry, let me look up. Radio Maria. Sorry. The pastor Retzik. And it's like I guess they're like supposedly anti-Semitic, and they're like anti-trans, which I agree with, because I think but like I don't know. I was just wondering if you could look it up. Sorry.
Can you give me the spelling on those things that you want me to look up? The spellings? Hello? Oh, maybe they just dropped it for me and hung up. Yeah, they did. Shoot, I'll have to listen again. I didn't quite make out the words clearly. I'll go back and listen. All right, let's go out to Michigan. Romeo, Michigan.
Hello, Zach.
Yes.
Oh, hi, I just wanted to know, do you plan on doing more UFC predictions in the future?
Yeah, I'll do more UFC work. On the Patreon, people are trying to get me to do more fights. So UFC is included in that. And usually there's a big fight on the weekend. So now that baseball, or not baseball, but basketball and hockey and all that's wound down, so there's going to be time to do more sports in this stretch where it's just mostly baseball. So yeah, probably start doing a fight every Friday decode for the fights for the weekend. So yeah, can do that.
Thanks a lot, Zach.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
Cool, thank you.
You have a good night. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, last caller probably tonight, New York City. You called in just in time. What's up, New York?
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
been watching your work for the last 2 years, and I heard your stories. Do you still get watched by police or FBI or your next door neighbor?
Well, now I live in a different neighborhood. I don't live where I lived 2 years ago, and I live in a better community now. And this is where I had the FBI come to my house, though, which really surprised me the day that happened. That was, what was that, August 21st, 2018? So it's been almost getting close to a year now. But since the FBI came to my door that day, I haven't had any more, incidents with the authorities, but I imagine they're probably still watching. So they're just not coming to my door. But hopefully it stays that way, so.
Can you explain more like what's going on, and do you know what's gonna come in the future?
Well, how do you mean that? You gotta be more specific.
Like watching news and how information is coming from the news.
Sure. Okay. So we got 10 seconds. So real quick, in 10 seconds, I get your gist. What's coming is more censorship, more police state, less freedoms. They want a society that is just, on their knees for Big Brother, paying taxes, not asking questions, marching off to war. That's what they want. So they want an obedient society that doesn't think, they just follow. And that's what we got to stop. All right. Appreciate everybody. We'll be back next week. Appreciate all the callers and listeners. And I won't miss another show for a long time. That's a promise. All right. Till next time, Truth Seeker. All right, Truth Seekers in the live stream. I'm not going to stay overtime tonight just because, I still haven't finished my dinner. And even though I have been gone, somebody called in earlier and said it's nice that you've been able to rest, but I think I've been doing even more work than normal the time I've been gone. And really, you guys know I've been posting videos, and I'm still doing Patreon every day. So anyway, I just want to chill out and finish my dinner and go to bed. When you live up north, it gets bright really early, and the stuff we have on the windows, it doesn't block out the sun. So I'm waking up at about, I don't know, like 4:45 every single day right now. So I don't want to stay up too late. And for all the people who are anxious for me to get back to the daily live stream, I've been really bad about my deadlines. I think I said that at the beginning of May I should be back up, and now here we are nearly at the end of May. I still need to finish the book that I've been writing, and I'm way behind on that. And for those of you who pre-ordered the book, which I haven't advertised since the beginning of the year because I saw myself getting behind, I'm going to make it up to you tenfold. Even if it costs me extra money, you're going to get extra copies for your patients. But as soon as I do get this book done, and I don't want to set any more deadlines, but as soon as I'm done, we'll get the daily live stream back up, and everything will get back to normal. So it'll happen. That's all I can say. And right now I'm really trying to get it done so that I can get it in print. I'd like to have it done and finished, the new book, by the time that I speak in September. So it's just like my last book. It took me longer than I thought it was going to take me. But yeah, we'll leave it there for tonight. Somebody said, what is normal? Normal where I do the daily live stream. Before I had the podcast going for it would be an hour plus each day, cover all the news stories, take the callers. That's what I mean by get back to normal. So it's coming. All right. Thank you again, everybody. If you did a super chat and I didn't see it, I'm sorry. Really appreciate all the donations and super chats. Maybe I didn't get any, that's fine too. But if anybody did, thank you so much. And we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Have a great rest of your evening, your day, depending on where you are in the world. Till next time.